wonder created about him.
And Mastiff Media radio station. From Dare Media Group, Radio X Gold, Radio X Country, 6RXM, Radio X Magic, and Dare Talk Radio. And from Mastiff Media, Yerg's Radio, Rainbow Radio, Right Talk Radio, Forward Radio, Mastiff Sports, and Shady News Radio.
You're tuned to the Sport Cat Show.
I think I cut it off. Hello, everybody, and welcome. And we're going to give you a few minutes to come over here and find us because we're not over there where we're supposed to be. We're right here. I'm not sure why, but that's because we are here. We're not there. It's probably got something to do with my tantrum I threw on the radio earlier. So I had to send the guests the new show links to make sure that we had it. So if anybody's in the chat wants to go over and tell everybody we're there, hey, Wendell's here. Welcome. Wendell, it is like old times. I am with Brenda. She agreed to sit in because Ms. Harley, she had a power outage at the last minute. So I called Brenda and I said, Brenda, come on over and help me out. And then she totally crashed the studio. She just fucked it up. So I'm so off base. Wait a minute. I got to hold on. I got to.
I'll let you. I'll let you blame me.
Yeah, go ahead. All right, so good morning to you in Sydney, Australia, listening on Dare Talk Radio. It's 11:06 a.m. in Sydney. In Perth, my God, you're up early listening to me, and I don't know why. It's 9:06 a.m. Burnt toast and coffee time. Come on, let's talk some paranormal shit.
Yeah.
We're starting off right today, so.
You've had an adventurous day. Well, so have I, but you've had an adventurous day.
Yeah, I have. And I forgot. Yerg's Radio. Thank you, Yerg's Radio. Jeez. Everything got screwed up when I had to go totally rebuild the studio again. I don't know what happened. It said go live. I clicked go live, and it's like, not tonight, motherfucker. I'm like, great. The whole thing. So if anybody's in the chat wants to go over to the other chat and say, hey, come over here. There we go. Chris, you were great. I love you, man. Love you. Well, I'm on Australia FM. It's different over there. So don't be a cunt, Bobby. So
oh, hi, Bobby. I miss you, Bobby. Chris, do not apologize for that. Don't do it. I'm proud of you, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, Chris and Denise had my back, so
yeah.
So we'll just have a good old talk session until my first guest gets the new link. So what's a Vegemite? I still don't know what Vegemite is. So I don't know.
I know what it is,
butter?
but it's the way they make it sound, I wouldn't eat it, but apparently apparently Australia thinks it's like wonderful.
Well, you be kind because we've got a lot of Australia listeners now. They're waking up.
I have a friend out there who actually, him and I talked about that Vegemite stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And Bobby, you're more than welcome to come over here still. You just totally left me, Bobby. You divorced me.
I know, Bobby. Come on, man.
He says it is the consistency of jelly, but tastes like salty brown gravy. And do you mix it with peanut butter? By the way, I need to tell anybody listeners on Yerg's Radio or Dare Talk Radio, I encourage you to come over and join the chat. Search us out by the Para OR Normal Guyz. 3 words, Para OR Normal Guyz with a Z. And then you can also search out the Sport Cat shows, and so we can find me.
Oh, Chris said Bobby's wrong chat.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't know what chat I'm in. So, it went nuts right before showtime. So
Bobby must be all by himself.
we love you, Bobby. Come back, Bobby.
Wendell says I don't have friends. Shut up, Wendell.
It's why I let you on the show. You have friends. So
I have a lot.
You found some Vegemite in Huntsville, Alabama. Holy cow! It probably was really old. So
really,
I guess maybe. Well, I don't know. They're an international city over there. You know, they're woke over there. So
they probably have a lot of stuff in Alabama we don't have anywhere else in the world.
It's at the new Cracker Barrel. So you can find it on the corner of 14th.
I seen a guy who was dressed up like the Cracker Barrel guy standing on a street corner with a sign saying he got his job back.
Hey, I was this years old today when I found out that guy's name was Herschel. All this time, I did not know his name was Herschel.
I kind of called him Uncle Cracker, so I don't know.
Hey, KG, welcome. I'm glad you found us.
Can you find us now?
Bobby's. I don't. Now he's just talking into his phone incoherently. So, Brenda got a shout out this afternoon when we were talking temps as hot as balls. It was up here at hot as balls. So,
yeah,
it was definitely hot as balls in the mom's attic up here. So, I sent the new link out. It might just be me and you talking. So,
hey,
I'm okay with that. We can talk about paranormal stuff. We could talk about other stuff. So,
yes, yes.
That was, yeah. If you aren't a fan of my daily news show, you need to become one. It's on the overnight hours in Australia. So you guys will definitely, and gals will definitely enjoy it. You should tune it in today. Apparently we were a little bit different from the normal programming when I lost my mind. So I may have at one point been screaming into the microphone. I'm not 100% sure. I think I lost consciousness. So it's my story and I'm sticking with it.
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm just going to say I was so proud of all of you.
Wendell wants to know if you moved. He can't find you at your old address. He's still looking for you. She's in Huntsville, next to Bobby.
Yeah, go to Bobby's house.
Bring possum and Vegemite.
Go to Bobby's house, face the door, knock on it twice, run like hell, and I'll be over there on the right.
She'll roll out back and meet you. So, yeah, I have no idea. What are we even doing on this show? Let me look on YouTube and see. I bet the other chat's having a lot of fun without us. So, hell, I don't even see this show on my channel. What the hell? Make some snarky comments about some things, and this is what happens. So,
I have 2 YouTube channels, and it's funny because when I do my show, it'll be like there'll be people in that chat, and none of us can see them. They're just talking away to themselves until they finally figure out they need to come over to the other one.
Yeah,
it happens.
Yeah, it does occasionally. I'm in that chat, but it's not. See, this is the one that says it's scheduled. I have no idea.
Oh, well, maybe what?
Maybe we're in the right place.
Are we in the wrong one?
I don't know. At this point, I don't care. So,
well, we're here.
Yeah, and I'm not even talking about aliens. Usually this stuff goes nuts when I talk about ET, but no, not tonight. It just went nuts. I think it could be because our first guest is a CIA person, so maybe that's it.
Uh-oh.
Maybe. I hope she finds something. So Chris says, I get frustrated as hell listening to comments on the internet radio stations and having to comment on here until Glenn gets over here. Then he recaps my anger for a half hour. Yes, I did. We carried it on a bit longer, Chris. So,
Oh my God.
I'm going to make sure, Chris, to print out that mental health form and send to you. So we'll both fill one out. So
Wendell says he's been the only one in the chat before. Wendell, that's because everybody does that to you on purpose.
Wendell, they're hiding from you. They don't want you to know we're here, but we're over here. We're not over there. But I'm not sure over there even exists. So
and no, Wendell, I haven't moved yet.
Not yet. No.
Not yet.
Hey, there's Denise. Denise was in the chat with me too earlier today. She has my back. So.
Hi, Denise.
Wendell, you missed a great show. You really missed a great show. So
you need to go back and watch it. I did.
Yeah. Please, I need the views. Hit the thumbs up button. So
I was proud. It's like, look at him go. That's my little Glenn. Go, Glenn, go.
Yeah, well, there's some things you don't mess with, and that annoyed the shit out of me. So
yeah. I know, right?
But so maybe it's because of that. I don't know. I really don't know what happened, but we're over here now and we're waiting on our guest. And if our guest doesn't show up, then we'll wait on our second guest. And if our second guest doesn't show up, then well,
free for all.
We will just have an open house for any questions you have. You can ask Brenda anything you want. Wendell, be nice. So
Wendell is the exception to that rule.
She has to keep her clothes on. We can cuss, but we have to keep her clothes on. There are a few rules. So
I have my paranormal shirt on tonight. Paranormal Guyz.
She does. She's in uniform.
I'm in uniform.
Yeah, I got her trained well. So yeah, she didn't do her little wave when she came in there. So I need to download a video of Trump doing the dance and play that on the screen sometimes when I get happy. So. Did you see a video I sent you where they said that he has CHF and he's going to be like off of this planet soon?
Oh, God.
Yeah, they said he has congestive heart failure and he sits behind his desk because his legs are too swollen to walk. He's the president. He's supposed to sit behind a desk. I mean, that's kind of what they do.
Start sitting on it and kind of put a leg up and just kind of,
Yeah. Well, now, wait, I do remember a president that was photographed with his feet on the Resolute desk, and a lot of people got offended by that. And I was like, it's his office for 4 years or 8 years, whatever it is. He can do what he wants. If he wants to put his feet up and talk on the phone, which is what he was doing, he could have been getting the grocery list or something. I don't know what the hell he was doing, but it didn't bother me. So.
And don't tell me that. I would sit on it and rub my butt across it. And, what are you doing? I am dusting the desk.
But why is there a slug mark? That's all I want to know.
I'm scratching my butt at the same time. He just had that. He just had that desk redone. So
yeah, they had
debug
it. Well, I don't know if it had to get debugged, but I'm sure they do that after every presidency. But I think he had it refinished or something.
Yeah.
So they have a choice of, I think, like 6, maybe 3, 4, 6, something. And most presidents choose the Resolute desk. And I'm sure, and after all this time, people, kids, I mean, there's been kids in there playing on it. And, there's been dogs and cats. And so I'm sure that,
Elon Musk's son wiped his booger on it. So,
Now, the only thing I got pissed off at Trump about, and he's the commander in chief. The other day at noon when he had his press conference, he had his lid on. You're the commander in chief. Take your damn hat off. We're not at war. Take your hat off. So I was pretty upset about that. See, there you go. And I called him out. And the commander in chief should be setting an example. Take it. I'm not saying anything about the big red advertisement on his head. I'm just saying take it off.
Maybe he was having a bad hair day.
Yeah, you're the commander in chief. You can probably hire a pretty good beautician. He says, I have seen indications that a certain TV station in the Minnesota area is attempting to scrub their YouTube channel of as many mentions of, quote, gender identity of today's shooters and pics of the gun mags. Well, I am probably thinking you're correct. So it didn't look like me. It didn't talk like me. so it wasn't me.
Well, you're not allowed to show. Look, I had a show one time and somebody was showing me a plastic replica with the sign signature on it, a plastic replica of the actual gun that shot JFK. And the guy held the plastic thing up and they took my show down. I was like, it was plastic.
Well, yeah, they will get on you about that. And interestingly, I go in after every show and I edit the words so that I can put all the hashtags in and any links or whatever in. And yesterday when I went to do that, it wasn't like right after the show because sometimes YouTube is editing or doing its thing, whatever. And so I logged into YouTube Studio, brought it up, and none of the Sport Cat Gazettes were there. Every other show I had was there, but not a one of them was there. So I went back to my main page and the little thumbnail was there. I click on it and it says retry again later. But they were later on, they were all there. So I don't know, maybe I'm benefit of the doubt. YouTube may have been having some upload problems or something, but
yeah, I think Facebook's been having some problems too for the last few days. Mine's been acting so stupid.
Yeah, well, YouTube has been acting crazy here lately.
Yeah.
Did I send that to everybody? I hope I sent it to everybody. Yeah, to Mickey, to the spot, to Trey. Yeah, I sent it to everybody. So, all right. So everybody has the new show link. God, let me make sure it's the right damn one.
Oh, hang on. I forgot I was going to share this show through. I told you I got more screens now, right?
Yeah.
I think I even got. Oh no, I forgot to put it up there. Sorry. I was going to say, I even think I got the show up on my computer screen. I mean, on my TV, but apparently I missed it. But yeah.
I'll send it again. So.
What are you sending now? Oh, the link?
Yeah, just to make sure. I've sent it twice, but maybe, maybe they won't get it. So, well, if they don't, we'll just have fun with this. Chris says they didn't like the messages written on the mags. Aren't they actually called clips? They didn't target the appropriate people, apparently. Just my opinion.
Yeah.
So, and I understand he apparently was very intelligent because I heard one report say that he used the Russian alphabet but wrote in English in print. As I haven't read it yet. I really didn't want to look. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I did hear that one TV station report that, you have to be pretty intelligent to do that. So the person wasn't a dummy, which is such a waste. It's such a waste to start with, but why you killed two innocents is those kids never did anything to you. So,
like I said, when you just shoot through a window and you just do it sporadically, you just hit what you hit. And ridiculous. What? Actually, leave that doll alone. As she no longer has an attachment, I got a chance to move her on, Wendell.
Oh.
Yep. She finally decided it was time to go. What's the matter with your dog?
Well, apparently, I should have locked the treats up as well. And Ginger knows the weakest link.
Oh, no.
I got a 6-pound box of dog treats down there. I probably should go intervene.
I don't know. Will that raise her trigger?
She's definitely on her ass to give her a treat. As you can obviously hear.
That dog is so bad.
She was in bed.
As he yells across the room.
I can't do that on a hot mic. So she's not listening to me. I have to go down there here in a minute. So
I would tell you to run, but I don't want you to fall down the stairs.
They said they didn't think I could kill her in, like 18 hours.
There might not be. I don't think there's any sugar in dog treats, though.
No, but she's giving them all to the dog. That's why the dog's raising hell. She wants them. Hey, Grimace is shaking his purple 7-incher. Good job for you, Grimace. Hey, Grimace, make sure to hit that thumbs up button for me with your 7-incher. So,
and take pictures. I want to see that.
I haven't seen him in a while. Welcome back, or her. I'm not sure. Grimace, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. So, yeah.
The dog's being quiet now. I wonder what happened.
I don't know. Hopefully nobody's dead. So. But Grimace, why are you yelling it? It's purple and furry. Okay, Grimace, we understand, but could you at least not yell at us? I'm okay with it being purple and furry and, it being long and lean, but just don't yell at me. I'm sensitive. So.
Purple and furry. Sorry, I am not dressing up as a bunny rabbit.
Well, no, he's Grimace. The purple guy from...
I know exactly who Grimace is.
Wasn't Grimace a pedophile? I don't. Asking for a friend. I don't know. Somebody Google that. Let me know.
Oh my God.
Well, I can't remember what Grimace is. I offended Grimace once by calling him the wrong pronoun, and I don't remember if it's a he or a she. So my memory's not that great.
Consider they asked if I was single because they were horny. I'm gonna probably he.
Well, that I should. You know what? My bad. That and he has a penis. I should have figured this out.
And it's purple and hairy.
Why was I not thinking like that?
Why does everybody want to be my schlong?
Oh my God.
Well, Grimace, I'm glad for you. I gotta find a button that I want to push for this. So I don't even know what button to push. There we go. So we'll go with that one. So there you go, Grimace, just for you. So we're upsetting him that we're laughing at his little purple furry unit. So I'm not laughing at you, Grimace. I'm laughing with you. So
now there is an advantage to that. Have you ever heard? I mean, you don't really hear this nowadays, but have you ever heard of the French tickler?
Well, I've never used one, but
Why does everybody want to be my schlong?
See, if you tuned in here for a serious show, we fucked that wall up.
You know what? It's been a long time since I've been on a live with you, so it was bound to happen.
Chris, you have a valid point there. I should have thought about that. Oh,
what a stupid question that is.
Yeah, it was.
What
it was.
Stupid question.
It was. I agree. So I'm sorry, Grimace. So I wasn't thinking about it. So, but in today's society, I mean, it could be. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Is Ginger in the room with you?
Yeah, she's down here panting.
Okay.
Now she's
I was going to say, I just heard panting, so.
Be quiet. It's under my desk. Don't worry about what's in here. It's none of your business. Oh, Trump has a big, beautiful penis, and that's why I voted for him. Well, that's a good reason. So
why does everybody want to see my schlong?
So he likes my show too, so. Except for just
I'm a fan, but I never listen to the Sport Catch show.
See, there you go. So, pastrami sandwich, anyone? Just don't throw it, Wendell. Just don't throw it.
He starts to come and then he pulls out.
That's Warren that said that. Warren, I would like a pastrami sandwich.
They love pedophilia. They love devil worship.
That's right.
Oh, geez. Whoops.
He did. That's right, Grimace. He did say that. So yeah, hold on. I got it on my soundboard right here.
I'm a fan, but I never listen to the Sportcat show.
I can't get him to tune in. I have had Bree try multiple times to hook us up, but she ain't doing it. So I don't know.
I really don't think he has time to sit and watch channels.
Well, you know, he's a very busy man, but at night he stays up. Now, this is actually a true fact. At night he does stay up, and well, I don't want to say he stays up, but he has some type of device there. I don't know if it's a FM radio, a computer, an MP3 player. I don't know what it is, but he has something in his bedroom where he does listen to online shows. I do know that for a fact.
It's a laptop.
So yeah, like I said, I don't know what it is, but I so agree. I got another button. Hold on here. I can get by with this. Hold on, everybody. There's a parental warning for this one.
That's fucking football right there. None of that pansy-ass, dick-tugging smile for the camera bullshit. Men puke, men poop on the field. Men deliver their newborn baby on the sidelines. Fucking hardcore, dick-in-the-ass, butterball, foosball, fucking chucking game time shit. Take it to the showers. Dicks get shoved in places you don't even remember. We win together, we celebrate together. Football is back, baby.
I have never seen a football player shit on a field.
Yep. Football is back, baby. Okay, that's it. Yeah, I can't get by with play, and I'm playing this at 9 a.m. in Australia. I don't know. They may hate me for this, or we may be a hit. I noticed my views have been going up, so maybe they like what they're doing. So I don't know. So, you're sitting over there going,
You are fake news.
Yes, I am. So
No, you're not.
see, this is how I knew Brenda was going to be on the show. It was a goddamn car wreck to start. So
We did good. We did good.
you know, I think we needed this, Bree. 31 minutes of us, or 28 minutes of us just ranting and saying stupid shit. I like it. We should do this more often.
We
So,
used to.
We
used to
did.
do it a
We
lot.
did.
Yes. We did.
well, Grimace, don't leave. He's got to go grease his gator. Well, go pet your gator and tell it to come back to the Sport Cat show because we miss you.
Why does everybody want to see my schlong?
Oh, there you go. But hey, while you're out there, just saying. Oh, see, this is why I can't be on with the FCC. I would be banned. But the Australian Communication Commission are perfectly fine with it. So,
Grimace, come back.
Hey, Grimace, do answer. What kind of porn do you like? So, because Alice Springs people love hearing this shit at 9 a.m. They're my kind of people. Fucking A.
Yeah.
So, I may be kicked off of that.
What? Yeah. What? We're
I'm
gonna
new
go there.
So I'm new there, so I mispronounce their cities, and they still like me. And I try desperately. I can't get the names of some of them, and I screw them up every day. And I'm waiting for some hate mail to show up or something.
Oh,
I haven't got it yet.
it's okay.
And then the other day I was like, damn, it's hot there. Yeah, well, I was in Fahrenheit. I wasn't in Celsius, or I was in Celsius, not in
You were
Fahrenheit.
in Celsius. You were like, oh my God, it's really cold there. It's like -12. What?
What the hell's going on there? It's going to snow in Brisbane tonight. Please make sure to lock your shutter doors. So Brisbane. Yeah, what is the other? Canberra. I screw it up. So
Canberra?
I hate this chair. Is it Canberra? I don't know.
Right.
Perth is easy. I got Perth. I got Melbourne. I got Sydney. See, I got some of them. So I mean, Chris likes to read along and watch me skip words I can't pronounce. That's more entertaining than listening to the show, he says. It's actually a true story.
Who wrote this?
Yeah. God damn, I can't pronounce that word. I'm going to move on. So,
Yeah, whatever this says. This right here. You see this right here?
I found another outtake of a report from a reporter. I might get in trouble for playing this one. Fuck it.
Shit flying in my mouth. The fuck, I can't see pollen. Let's get the fuck out of this country, motherfucker. I can't even see. Wait.
He was doing a live report beside the road, and he got sprayed by cars going by, and that was he was live. It was a hot take.
I would have really loved to have seen that. Probably would have been the best thing on news in a long time.
The fuck out of here. Chris, I look for words ahead of his reading and try to guess the ones he will try to gloss over. If they're more than like 6 syllables, I'm done. I can't do it. So,
Kara Buddha, whatever.
18, whatever. He meant to say. Okay. So, man. I see. So it grows when you grease it. I'm with you. Wendell says he shares this with people and they never come. I have so many comments for that. So
Grimace just scared me.
Make sure they're above 18 and you'll be okay, Grimace. So
old. Okay, old. I thought you were talking about something else.
Hey, I was too. That's why I said he greases and it grows. Gotcha. I'm a little slow, Grimace. I'm a little slow. Work with me here. So.
I'm glad we're on the same page. I'd have felt really stupid.
Yeah, well, I don't know. When you have a paranormal show and it starts out as a train wreck, you just go with it. So
why not?
This first hour will definitely not make WRFN. I can guarantee you that. Well. The age of consent in his state is 16. Well, it is. You must be in the South. There is some states it is.
What state? What state are you in?
I could be in Bobby's state. I think Alabama. I think they're age of consent.
I'm trying to think what it is here.
I don't know. I'm old and married, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. But yeah, some states and
ours is probably still 18. So
read that. I can't.
What is it, Chris?
Chris, yeah.
Oh, Chris.
Has Chris
ever seen Miriam?
Marianne, dude. It's McMagadamit.
McMagadamit. Megadamit.
He's in Rhode Island. Oh, okay. That's a small state.
Oh, okay.
Well, see, I guess it has to be younger up there because it's a smaller state. I mean, it kind of makes sense. So, just with me. I got nothing. People say that I'm good at radio, but I don't think I am.
I'll stay in Texas where it's safe.
Warren wants to know who the hell is that.
McDammit? You don't know Miss McDammit? Oh my goodness.
We're working hard tonight to get kicked off all of our affiliates. So
yeah.
Oh, and I will upload this to the TV network too. So
Denise knows Miss McDammit.
So I will have to put the disclaimer on this one. So
what? That was her name.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's not your fault.
I mean, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
Whoa. Calm down there. So 14 is the age of consent in Germany. That's actually true.
Only if they can see over the bar. Only if they can see over the bar.
Yep. What bar and who sets it?
In Germany, if they're old enough to drink, as long as they can see over the bar.
So what if they get high heel shoes? Does that help, or do they get to come in barefoot?
Well, I don't think they would go in there barefooted, but yeah, if you have a sprouting 13-year-old and they want a beer, they can go into the bar, and if they can see over the bar, they can legally purchase a beer.
I kind of like a country that sets its standards by the height of a bar. I mean, I'm okay with that.
It's almost like those Disneyland rides, you know? You got to be this tall to ride this ride.
Warren wants to know what % of kangaroos are stump broke in Australia. Well, anybody in Australia, come in the chat and let Warren know. He's asking about the stumps and kangaroos, and I don't know. You just come work with him.
You don't mess with those kangaroos, man. Them kangaroos will box your ass.
I've seen videos. They can get brutal. They'll just punch you.
Yeah, they kick the shit out of you. You go flying.
Yeah, and they like approach you and they like side eye you and shit. And then when you're not expecting, you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna pet the little kangaroo."
Yeah,
and like,
they kneel down and they have their little hands down there, like, but deep down inside they're a fucking T-Rex and they're gonna come and kick your ass. They're gonna eat you for lunch. Yeah, shit.
Grimace says you can fornicate and drink at age 14 in Germany. They're freer than us. Well, now, do they have, hold on, I probably shouldn't say it. Let's just play a sound effect here. Do they have that? Are they capable of doing that?
No.
Yeah, they're not freer than us, so.
They're well, okay, look. I know a lot of 14-year-olds and they don't exactly think correct. They're kind of stupid. So to allow them to drink, I'm just saying. What's the matter?
Chris, you're lit tonight. He says my dwarf college friend would get hammered on just a half a beer.
Now those friends I don't have.
In Italy, the bar must be short.
I don't. Oh God, I wouldn't be able to be there, Glenn. That would just scare the shit out of me.
Warren wants to see what's in the pouch.
Probably a smaller one that's going to kick you in the chin when you.
Oh
my God!
You still get their numbers? Oh. What? Warren, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm about ready to tell you just come join us. You can have fun with us.
Come on, Warren. I haven't seen you in forever.
Well, the second hour we might have to have a real show in case the second hour guest actually gets here. So if she does, we'll figure it out. I apologize for everybody that tuned in wanting to see a CIA show. Apparently, they somehow made it to where she couldn't. So.
Damn them.
I don't know.
Always sticking their nose in places it doesn't belong.
Oh, Warren.
He wants to have a little chat with Chris's door friend. Warren, you nasty. You nasty, Warren.
The guy from the secondhand weed smoke at a Van Halen concert and was doing cartwheels on our lawn.
What?
When do we see you now? Window got lost and Chris has a cartwheeling dwarf on his lawn. Oh, this was a serious show. I promise.
I mean, we need them up here like old times. Come on, Wendell. Where the hell is Bobby? Bobby, are you still here?
Bobby is on a sabbatical, so he decided to take a break from show business because he was getting too famous. So,
oh, was that it? He was getting too famous. Really?
That was the story. I didn't question him. So yeah, he was taking a break. So.
Well, Bobby, this is not a show. This is comic relief, and we would like you to assist us.
I was asked by the TV network to see if I could put the Misfits back together and do a show. So
I miss that show. I miss that show.
But it's like herding cats, and everybody's all spread out.
But see, it was okay when it was me and you and Andy and JT before he broke his own heart, which I told him not to do that, but he didn't listen. So I think I'll just go get Shelton from him and I'll just operate Shelton.
Yeah. Chris says Bobby is laying low to see if Alabama is shit this season. So,
oh shit.
Wendell says send the link. I thought it was in the chat. Now, Wendell, we got to have a serious show afterwards. So be careful here. Hold on, let me
Be nice.
let me find it.
Don't be geeking out on people's tits, okay?
Yeah. No, that's my job. Where the hell? Where's the Misfit chat? It's in here somewhere.
I don't know. Am I even? I don't think I'm even in that.
Hell, nobody's talking it anymore. So it's so far down the. I mean, like I don't even see it here, and I thought I'd been in it recently, but I don't even see it.
Put it in your chat in here.
Oh no, then we'll get Grimace on here. I'm not ready for that.
You know what? And when the guest comes, you can always kick him off. You have the power of that button.
Roger, welcome, Roger. Welcome. We are glad you are here. Please hit that like button, the thumbs up button, the share button, the subscribe button. Please, God help us. Please.
Harley,
are
you fixed yet?
If your power's back on, get in here because what happened was, I have to explain this again for those slow ones in the back. The system went to hell when I went to hit go live, and so I had to set up a brand new show, and well, I don't know where my first guest is. The second guest, she messaged and said she got the new link, so hopefully she'll show up. So, but if not, this is kind of fun too. We need to do this more often, so we really do. You and I fight like cats and dogs, and it's great. So it's still one of my greatest TikTok moments.
We say
I'm trying to tell you to shut up.
I don't know. That one that me, you, and Harley did that one night did pretty good too. She sent me the thing on it. I was like, woohoo, look at her.
It did. She's made some good shorts. So
I don't know how to do
y'all.
those.
Well, thank you, Roger. We do appreciate it, and make sure to tell everyone, Roger. Normally, this show does have paranormal aspects and things, but the system crashed and went to hell, and so the first hour we don't have a guest because I guess she didn't get the email where I sent the new link. So it's Bree and I just kind of shooting the shit, and be advised there's adult language. And so hopefully the second hour my guest will be here. So
there's no adults in this room.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We get Chris and Denise. They'll keep us straight. So
I want to say again, I'm very proud of them today.
They were great. Yeah, Roger. I don't honestly, sometimes when you set up a paranormal show, usually it's when you do a show about aliens. Everything crashes.
Or ghosts.
But tonight, sometimes ghosts, but tonight's show, the first guest could have been an X 3-letter CI something agent. And so perhaps after my fit pitching this morning on the Sport Cat Daily Gazette, they're like, no, not tonight.
He yelled today. You don't need to
got live in New Zealand right now, so Denise says, Chris, stop. My stomach hurts from laughing. I needed this tonight. I did. So I really did.
Had to lighten you up. You were so tensed earlier.
Well, they say everything happens for a reason. Well, I got a lot going on. I'm still here in Knoxville, and now I'm worried about Hellhound. I still haven't got the lab results back, and so and just it's been a rough couple days. So, but I'm getting better. I'm okay.
Kind of surprised mine isn't over there barking its head off. He's laying down here sleeping.
She came up here and begged for me, and then she went back downstairs. So she'll I need to go down there and see. She's probably got the box is probably just on the floor, and she's
and open and it probably empty.
Oh, wait a minute. We have a new guest here. Yeah. Hello there. She has power. She lives. Woo-hoo. Welcome, Harley. Hey, by the way, Harley, you can say fuck now. So
I used to say that before you did turned on the radio station. You would say, okay, everybody, get it out of your system. So I would go, okay, fuckity, fuck.
Exactly.
And you
All
can
right,
turn
well,
on the radio.
we've got to be serious now because we actually have a guest.
Oh.
I apparently didn't screw up too bad because Tricia is backstage. And Tricia is, well, she's been on our show before. She's probably not ready for tonight since we're kind of going a little crazy, but she's got several young adult books out and she's here to talk about them. To Be a Fae Rogue by Tricia Copeland. Let's bring her out here. Hello, Tricia. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I don't know if you heard any of the shenanigans a few minutes ago, but the studio crashed when I went to go live. I had to set up a whole new studio, and it just was a train wreck. So,
that's so sorry.
I got all my curse words out before you got here. So,
okay.
But we are live in Australia on Radio X. I'm sorry, on Dare Talk Radio. So we're live there. It's tomorrow morning over there. So good morning to them. And we are live on Yerg's Radio. And if I'm not censored, we will also be on Pine Island FM tonight at like midnight. But after the first hour, they may cut me. So I let out some frustration. So Tricia, how the hell are you? It's been a while. You've been on our show before.
I have. Yes, it's been a little while. Thank you for having me back.
Oh, we love to have you back. When we last had you, we had a good talk. And now, is this a new book or is this the same book? Because this is To Be a Fae Rogue.
Right. Actually, so my most recent publication is To Be a Fae, which is the final book in the Realm Chronicles series. That the fourth book is To Be a Fae Rogue. So there's To Be a Fae Queen, To Be a Fae Guardian, To Be a Fae Legend, To Be a Fae Rogue, and then To Be a Fae is the finale. So all 5 of those books are out in the complete series. So we can talk about one or all of them.
Awesome. Well, for anybody that missed our first show, why don't you tell us about what the series is about? Give us like a baseline, I guess would be the best way to say it. And we'll go from there.
Right. So the main protagonist is Titania, Queen Titania, who is in my background here. That's my character art of her. And she initially is a princess and 15 years old, living in the Fae realm, which is a realm tucked under our human realm. And they can enter and leave the Fae realm through these fairy rings or fairy portals. But they don't come into the human world in general. So Princess Titania is 15. She discovers how to stop this invading species from invading and taking over their kingdom. And her father decides, hey, I'm tired of being king. You be monarch. So she is crowned queen at age 15, and she's the first female monarch of her realm. And some of the other monarchs are thinking, she's 15. She's a female. We've never had one of those. We're not so sure about this. So she has challenges left and right from everybody who doesn't think she should be queen. That sort of sets up the first book. And then we discover that she also has special powers as a fairy that have been handed down from her mother's line. And there is an evil spirit hunting her because she is, or could be, we'll find out in these series, the legendary one to end all evil. So the Fae have a legend that there's one person going to come to stop all this evil from happening. And many of the Fae that know her start to believe she is the one. So the book or the series goes through just all her trials and tribulations with this evil spirit hunting her and her fairies.
Awesome. I want to circle back to what you first said. You said that's your art behind you. When you say that, do you mean you drew it?
No, I had it created just for her. Yes. Okay. No, I am not artistic at all. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I wanted to make sure. I was like, wow, you are very talented. So when we had you on before, you told us, refresh my memory, how did you come to, well, wait a minute, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. How did this society under ours come to be, I guess is my question. Right.
So there's an advertisement for an anthology and to submit short stories to this anthology. And the character or the premise of the anthology was that every short story had to have a fantasy character with a mental health challenge. And in the advertisement, it had this fairy, and she was hunched in a meadow, and she looked scared or anxious or something. So, and I never written about fairies. I've written about witches and vampires, but never fairies, and really didn't know that much about fairies. So I sort of made it up as I went along. So I gave Princess Titania an anxiety disorder. She has panic attacks. And so I wrote that short story, but the anthology didn't go anywhere. And it was just sitting there. And at the time I was writing the finale to my witch series, and the witches needed an army. And I thought, who's going to help the witches? The fairies could help the witches. So I had Queen Titania come help the witches and save the day. And then really she needed her own series. She needed her whole story arc there. So that's how I kind of created, and my witch series is very much urban fantasy. So it's contemporary urban fantasy. The vampires and witches are real, but the humans don't know they really are. So that kind of led me into, having this fairy army, but they live in this other realm where they don't really have technology or electricity or any of those things.
Okay. Did you do research on fairies and at all? Or?
No, I did not. And and it has turned out okay. Nobody said, "Hey, your fairies aren't susceptible to iron," or "Hey, your fairies can lie," or "Hey, your fairies have wings and lots of fairies don't." So, I knew fairies from like Peter Pan and Midsummer Night's Dream and things like that, but I didn't. I just went off on my own.
Good. All right. I'm sorry, Bree Harley. I know one of you got a question. I'm just jumping on her all over. So go ahead.
And sorry about my head. I had a little procedure today, so I didn't plan that very well.
Uh-oh.
Are you okay?
Yeah. No, just little skin issues. So. Yeah.
Okay. Wendell wants to know, is any of the Fae here in America?
They do come to the United States at one point a couple points in the series, but always at night, always under the cover of darkness, never to be discovered by humans. They do have special powers in the human realm. So basically, when they enter the human realm, they're as fast as vampires. They have super strength, hearing, sight, senses, and they can turn into anything they want. So they can be invisible, or they can be a dragon, or they can be a lion, or they can be a bear, or they can look like a human. So they can pretty much disguise themselves as whatever they would like.
When you had your person who drew your artwork, did you have them do it in the likes of you? Because she kind of resembles you.
That's funny. No, I didn't ask for that. I just asked for red hair. She had to have these stones on her head. You probably can't see that detail there, but green wings, and then she had to have a sword and her arrows, which are her go-to weapons.
Yeah, because she kind of looks like you.
Well, Tricia is a queen, so yeah. Where are you at, Tricia? Are you here in the States or are you in Canada? I forget.
I'm outside of Denver.
Okay. All right. You're in Maha City, so you guys are getting false fall right now.
We are kind of. It's been 75 degrees.
We are too here in Ohio.
Weird.
Tomorrow is supposed to be 48 in the morning.
Wow.
Good. Well, not here in the South. Nope. It's still hot. Very hot.
Yeah.
We're good, and then it'll hit us in September. It'll be hot again.
Today was damnation 92 again.
We were 68 today.
We're in the 80s. I think they have each one of them like a strawberry winter or something, blueberry. There's a name for each one of them, I think. Or they just make that up. So
it's all the different moons.
Exactly. Yeah. The black moon? Who the hell ever heard of a black moon that we just had?
And apparently that happens every year. Nobody ever said anything. I never knew about that.
It just took the internet this time by storm, I guess, because it was a slow week or something. But yeah, everybody's talking. You seen the black moon? You can't see it. That's why it's called a black moon. So anyway, sorry, Tricia. We're like squirrels. We see something and we just kind of wander off. So.
Well, I always like a reason to celebrate. So Black Moon sounds like one of those.
My wife went out and put water, and she says we have black moon water. I have no idea what the hell that means. So when I return home, I may be cursed. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to Google that before I go home. So yeah, it's apparently a witchy thing. I don't know. So I don't ask.
I don't.
It saves me a lot of headache. I just don't ask.
I don't play with wishes.
So what originally got you started writing?
My first series was not paranormal or witchy or vampires at all. I suffered from anorexia as a young adult, and then I was approaching my 40s, and like went on a significant high school reunion, and I thought, I was just looking back on my past and thinking I needed to write about, or I needed to like process at that stage of my life more. So I wrote, my first series is called the Being Me series, and it was about my experience with anorexia, but I fictionalized it. The character's name is Amanda, but she basically goes through what I did. So kind of like raising awareness of anorexia, and also just showing like recovery and hope for people who are struggling with eating disorders. Which is a weird way to start writing, because I never thought I would be a writer.
Chris says, thanks for mentioning the resemblance to the artwork, Carly. Now I can't stop noticing it.
Well, I feel honored because I feel like I don't nearly as good as her, but
he says it's 68 here, and I believe he's in Alabama. So
yeah,
well, it's 58 right now.
It's like 92. I don't know. It's hot out there. The dog went outside. No, so.
Like to go to work, I had to wear a hoodie because it was cold.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous. So
I know. I live in Texas. What are you talking about? It's 10 degrees hotter here than it is where you are.
I couldn't take it. No.
Still 90 outside.
So Tricia, did you have any experience with the paranormal?
You mean like personally or like with research? So I can talk about my most recent experiences. So my sister passed away 2 years ago, and just in the past couple of months, I've started this new relationship with her, because the first couple of years were just, okay, I miss you, I miss you, I miss you. And I thought, you know what? There needs to be a change in this dynamic here. There needs to be something. And my mom's cousin was in the hospital about a month ago, and nobody could go see him. It's cardiac ICU, and you can only go for like 15 minutes. And I live all the way across the country, and my parents were far away. And I felt so sad that nobody could go see him. So I said, I just put my sister up to it. I said, okay, you need to go see him. And he got better. He got better in like 3 days, and he came home from the hospital. I thought, oh, yes. So then the next thing that happened is my son's cat ran away. And well, he was hiking, and a friend was watching the cat, and they let the cat out, and they didn't notice. And the cat was gone for 6 days. And I thought, you know what? My sister is a cat lover. And so I asked my sister to bring the cat or look for the cat, and the cat came back that afternoon. So I am convinced that is my version of paranormal right now.
Well, that's pretty
Not
good.
a bad version. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, I don't know what your beliefs are, but there's something on the other side of the veil. I mean,
I definitely do believe that. Yes.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like you've made a contact. That's awesome.
Yes, yes, I believe that my sister is helping these people when I, kind of maybe ask or point her in the right way, or animals.
Do you ever feel her around you, or?
It's more sometimes that I see things in other people that are similarities sometimes, and I think, oh, that about that person is like her, but it's often that there are other things about the person that's not like her, that they don't totally, match. But it seems like that has happened a couple of times in the past week.
Have you ever thought about incorporating some of this into one of your story arcs?
I might, because I definitely have, like in the Fae series, I definitely have goddesses that she sees in dreams and that tells her things. And her mother is basically catatonic, except for she comes out with these prophecies every once in a while. And her mother is with the goddesses when she dreams of the goddesses. So she's sort of getting these messages from these spirit beings, I guess you could call them, that she interacts with in her dreams. So yeah, a little bit of incorporation there.
It sounds good though. Now your stuff, I know you label a lot of it as young adult, but you kind of do all genres there, don't you?
I do, yes. So my Being Me series, that's the girl recovering from anorexia, is college age, so new adult. And then I have a romance series, it's the perfect romance series. It's also based, I mean, it's not erotica, it's fade to black romance, but it's more adult. Yeah, it's like that 25 age. So.
Okay. I don't know where Brenda went. The CIA may have got her, so she'll be back. So hopefully. Well, so you've just finished this story arc. Is that was correct?
Right.
What do you have next? You got to have more. You seem like the type of person that can't sit still.
I do, and I finished the book like 6 months before it like released, which was odd for me because I haven't had that much of a lag before. So at first I was relieved to finish the book. Like all my characters are wrapped up. They're happily ever after. Nothing bad is going to happen to them again. But now I miss them. So now I think, I need to do something else. But in the finale, I won't give too much away. In the final book, I have a big spell that they have to perform, and they need 12 different kinds of fantastical beings to perform this spell. So that's a lot to figure out. So I have a Nyx, I have a Sprite, I have a Wolf Shifter, I have elves. I can't even remember all now, but there were 12 vampires, the witches, obviously the fairies. Let's see. It seems like there are a couple of other ones, but right now I'm writing a short story about the Nyx character, and she comes into the finale and she does a little mayhem and causes some problems with, I'll just say, the treaty that has been formed to help combat this evil. But I'm writing a short story about her, and I think that might become my next novel or my next series.
Nyx, is she a vampire?
No, so the Nyx, at least in my research and my interpretation of them, are fish shifters. So they shift into fish, which is very odd when you think about it, because they're not, warm-blooded beings or anything like that. So more merfolk-like or more siren-like, but a fish.
Okay.
And yeah, they completely changed to a fish and then completely changed back to a human. So.
Wow. Well, not really a mermaid then.
No, not a mermaid. Yeah.
Brenda says her internet went out, so well, we'll just carry on without you, Brenda. So, and Kay, I know you can hear me in the background. We are running a little bit behind, but we'll get to you just in a bit here. So, because we got totally sidetracked when we started here, so hopefully she could hang on. So now refresh memory. How many series do you have total out?
I have 4 series. So the Being Me series, which is the college, then the Kingdom Journal series, which is the witches, a trinity of witches have to come together to break a curse on the witch lines, and then the Realm Chronicles, which is this crossover Fae series. The Kingdom Journal's characters come into the Fae series as well, so that's a lot of fun to carry them through because I couldn't let them go. And then my romance series is the Perfect Romance series.
Where can your books be found at?
Everywhere, really. The ebooks and audiobook, well, let's see, the Kingdom Journal's audiobooks are everywhere. The ebooks are on Amazon and KU Kindle Unlimited. And then the Fae are everywhere for paperbacks, and Amazon Electronic as well as Audible. And sorry.
No, I was just going to say, Wendell says that I blocked Brenda. No. Go ahead, Tricia. I'm sorry.
No, if you go to my website, triciacopeland.com, then you can download 2 free short stories if you want to try out my reading. So that's fun.
Oh, okay. And it'll be in the show notes after the show. So
okay, great.
I'll make sure to put that in there. So, I was going to ask a question. I totally lost it with Wendell. Dang it. I'm fascinated with the fact that you have went from genre to genre to genre, because not only were you helping with the anorexia, I feel like it's a good cause, but then you kind of hit the young adults with the fantasy world. And so you have to have a creative imagination. Like you were saying, do you have like an encyclopedia or something that you write down where each character does this or that?
I did. So when I had to find those 12 fantastical characters, I did a lot of research about different fantasy characters, and I put them all up on my blog and sent them out in my newsletter of like, so I researched like water fantasy characters and winged fantasy characters and all these different fantasy characters. So I have like a little bit of an encyclopedia, if you will say, and I put a lot of that up on my blog. So that was really fun. Was that the answer to your question? I think that was the answer.
Well, no, I'm not picturing a big board with like strings or anything, but you almost have to have something. So Susie says Loki turned into a fish salmon to hide from the gods after he killed Odin's son to hide from. Okay.
Maybe that's a little bit where the lore comes from.
That's Viking, Norse. So there was fairies in their world, so they actually believe they were in. It was the underworld, wasn't it? I think. I don't know. Somebody will yell at me. My Norse, I'm not up on.
There's fairies almost from every different region of the world. I feel like different versions of fairy lore.
Well, even the Indians believed in them, or I think they just called them little people, but they were common to them back then. People saw things. I mean, do you think those things actually kind of exist?
I think they could, definitely, yes. I always sense these things that are like, and I like to believe in there's things that we don't understand or we can't comprehend, and they're all around us. So yeah, I like to believe it. My kids think I'm crazy, but
oh, well, no, you're not crazy. You're just seeing the other side much better than some. And that's great. I think it's great that you have that. I hate to use the word imagination because I feel like I'm insulting the author, but the creativity, because I'm trying to write something myself and I'm banging my head into the keyboard. You say you got yours out early. I got 7 pages, you know. how do you do it?
Yeah, I guess I keep asking questions like whatever character in whatever world they're in, like what are their problems? Why would there be these problems? Who's trying to hunt them? You know, what are the challenges to beating the antagonist? Or, you know, so I think just keep asking questions.
Well, no, you should never stop asking questions. What was that? The truth is out there. Upon my old X-File days on growing up, I was a nerd from a way back, Tricia. So.
I can relate to that.
I mean, I believe that there's things out there. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen a little person. I've seen Bigfoot, so you know, I know he exists. So why can't a UFO? Why can't fairies are little people? And like I said, the Indians wrote about them. So there's got to be something that for decades, you know. So
you know, a little fact that I found interesting about fairies: they used to ride around on corgis.
Oh, interesting. I haven't heard that.
Like the dog?
Yeah, like the dog. If you look at pictures that people draw and stuff about fairies, like they're riding on a corgi.
I didn't know that. Chris says, can I ask what kind of power or advantage they get by shifting to a fish? I just asked because I always thought Aquaman got the short end of the stick on the Super Friends compared to Superman.
You know, I haven't developed that yet because the short story, I haven't given them any special powers except that they can shift a fish yet. And I haven't developed that enough. I haven't been thinking about that because it's really hard because so if you only have fins, you can't use any weapons. Like you don't have any fingers, right? And so in that form, you couldn't really do anything except with your teeth or your fins. You're going to bat something about, right? And then if you shift to a human form, you're a human and you could use weapons. But I haven't like looked into, or I haven't created any powers for them yet. So I have to like fully flesh that out.
Well, you could, some fish have barbs in their fins. They could shoot barbs out of them. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess some fish create electric current too. I guess like eels do. So that would be another.
Yeah. So see, there you go. There you go. We're helping. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that question.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking as soon as he said that, I was thinking like Spider-Man. You know, he does the thing with his hand and the web comes out. They could do something and a spike comes out from their fin, and then when they get too close, they could like power up and zap people. And I want credit for this, by the way. So.
It's like those things that come out from the wheels of the monster trucks that like can spin and shred the other tires. Trucks beside them. Is that monster trucks or semi trucks? I don't know. I saw it somewhere.
I think it was monster trucks. So, but yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, they come out like I think 007 or one of them also used something like that to shred the tires. So, yeah.
They did that on Twisted Metal.
That's right. I only watched like 2 episodes of that before I tuned out. So.
Yeah, I wonder if it's on the Fast and the Furious too. I don't know. Anyway, so.
I don't know. I got lost on that series because there's like 50 of them.
So many of them.
Yeah, it's like, why? Now we're gonna have Fast and Furious, the grandchildren of the originals. Like, I don't care at this point. You made your money, so. But I did read today, Knight Rider, they're making a new movie and recovering it. So I'm excited about that.
That would be a good one. Yes.
I'm kind of excited to see Kit in this century. So Chris says, you're welcome. I just appreciated the opportunity to throw some heat at Aquaman. Hey, don't be hating on Aquaman. So, well, they can't, but they can come ashore or they can be on land. They can't, well, if they turn into a fish on land, that would kind of suck. But
I did. They needed to go through these fairy portals. So I gave them the ability to be strong enough to fly through the air for certain distances. So their fins are strong enough to support their bodies for some distances, not forever, but.
Yeah. Well, and they can make a portal and dive through, and they're in Atlantis or the Pacific or wherever. So I like this. I like where you're going with this. So.
Well, good. Thank you.
Well, I mean, I think your creativity is unique from so many others because, like you said, you didn't know anything about it. You just went out and made it up, and the world is yours. Now, do your characters, I want to say, speak to you, but do they kind of guide you any in how you're writing?
They do, yes. I mean, I'm very much like when I'm writing something, I'm always thinking about it, whether I'm doing the dishes or the laundry or Somebody told me I shouldn't do it when I was driving in my car because it might be dangerous. But I'm always thinking about like, okay, what's going to happen next in my story, or where do they need to go and how do they need to get there and how this person would react. And if I just wrote a portion, I think about it. Did that make sense to their character? Is it going to take us where we need to go? So I sort of become obsessed with it all the time. Yeah.
How long does it take you to do a book?
The fastest one I've written has been 6 weeks, but that was working like, 6 hours a day probably. But usually it's 2 to 3 months. I mean, I give myself deadlines and then I parse out how much I need to do every day. That usually gets me where I need to be. Yeah.
What gets you motivated to write? I mean, do you get up in the morning with a Mountain Dew or coffee and dive?
I'm from the South. I drink Diet Coke in the morning.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So usually it's like when I come up with that next idea, I want to get to my computer and write it down. So like just today I have several ideas and I have a day job. So I'm just like, okay, when can I finally write these ideas down before I forget them?
You can go in your phone and like little notes.
I pretty much just keep them in my brain. So.
Oh, I would forget them. I would totally forget them. So, have you ever, this odd question, have you ever had a dream and then woke up and said, okay, I got to get this on paper to put this in there?
I'm probably the only author that will tell you I have not had a dream about my characters. I will have an idea in the shower or in odd places like that for like how to get from place A to B, but I haven't had a dream. That's sort of disappointing.
No, I mean, you will tonight, maybe. Well,
Maybe.
A lot of people don't remember their dreams too. So, and they say it's stored in a short-term memory. So after like 10, 15 minutes, it's gone.
Right. If you don't think about it when you first wake up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm lucky to be, I'm thinking of the Mountain Dew. So that Mountain Dew. Got to get fired up in the morning. And I'm from the South too, a sweet tea. So, but doctor doesn't like me saying drinking the sweet tea. So
I was going to say the Mountain Dew, I think has a little bit of sugar in it too. So.
Well, I was like, it's better than the Mountain Dew. So apparently there's some other thing. I don't know. You get to a certain age, you haven't reached it yet, but they start telling you everything in life you enjoy, you can't have. So they're like, oh no, tastes good. No, I can't have it. Eat celery. So there's no manual for growing old. So I kind of am winging this one on my own. Oh man. And I did want to ask you some serious questions because of I also feel like, and Harley, I'm probably cutting you off. I'm sorry. When you talked about earlier with the anorexia, have you presented that are there any like groups or I don't what's the right word? I guess groups sent your stuff out there to say, hey, somebody could use this if they need help.
No, I haven't specifically done it. There's there's several authors that have written, I'm sure many authors have written about their stories of anorexia. So, I mean, obviously if someone reached out to me, I wouldn't like not do it, but it is, every story is different and it is a work of fiction. So, I was very careful, like not to teach how to be in the disease, because that's very important when you're talking about these diseases. Kids now can look it up online anywhere. So at least in my books, I'm not going to do that. But so I haven't gone that route. I don't know that I want to be I guess I'm doing that in my own way, right? Just with my books. So.
But your story is unique, so you should share it.
Maybe so.
And I always say, like, I'm stupid and silly on this show, but if you help one person, it's worth it,
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So, how can I ask? How long did you suffer from anorexia?
Not very long. My disease progressed very fast. I lost 44 pounds in like 3 months. So I was very sick very quickly. And was not really letting anybody help me until I almost died. So, yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize it could progress that quickly.
Yeah. If you're serious about exercising, not eating, yes, it can. So.
Probably a stupid question, but at the time, were you worried about your body and the way it looks or?
No, the interesting thing is now I'm to the age where I have friends whose daughters or sons are suffering from the same thing. And I look at the point at which they're putting them into like medical treatment, like in the hospital, because their bodies are breaking down and they're worried that their heart's going to stop. And it's like way before I even it's like but I was like way past there. So yeah, it's kind of scary as a parent looking back at how scared my parents must have been about me. But when you're in the disease, you can't see it. I had body dysmorphia too, so I couldn't even see myself as thin, and just wanting to like stay in that land of not paying attention to other issues that were going in my life. It really is, or for me, it definitely was an addiction, like alcohol or drugs or anything. Like it keeps you from thinking about the real problems maybe in your life. So, and that's really was the crutch for me. And I was just not that I was too goody two shoes, take drugs or drink alcohol. So
I myself suffer from body dysmorphia because I had gastric bypass in November and I've lost 127 pounds as of right now.
Wow, congratulations.
And I don't see it.
Oh, you can't see it either. Yeah.
Nope. Everybody else sees it, but I don't. I see it in pictures, but when I look at it, I don't see it.
You still see your old self. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a very strange thing.
Because I've gone from a 22, 24 down to a size 10.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a lot of good work. I hope you feel good.
Oh, I do, because I got so much more energy. Well, not right now, but normally I have more energy than to keep up with my kids.
That's awesome.
That is.
Sounds like you got one very unhappy kitty cat.
Yes, he usually gets food about now. So
no, that's my Squatch does the same thing, and trust me, he won't let up until you take care of him. That's all good. We understand. I do appreciate what you're saying, because I have even as a paramedic, I can't say I ever really understood it, because I always just kind of saw the stigma side. Not that I didn't take care of people that needed help or anything, but I just didn't see, like you said, compared it to alcoholism or drugs. I just didn't, but then I have picked up, I'll say children, they were young, that were, they were doing things, they were cutting, and then their parents were saying, I can't, they've not ate, or they'll eat and then they'll force themselves to throw up and stuff. So I have seen it, but I've never really associated it with an addiction like that.
Yeah. I mean, my brain just got rewired so that I couldn't, like, even when I realized I was so thin and really not doing well, I could not make myself behave. I couldn't make myself eat. I couldn't make myself behave differently. It had to be someone else. and unfortunately for me, I wasn't willing to do it or get better until I was very sick. So I don't want other people to have to experience that. So
did like alcoholics and drug people or drug addicts will have like a moment or a rock bottom? Is that kind of what you had?
Definitely. Yeah. My heart started racing, and then it was going really slow. And I called my friend, and she took me I was on college campus. So she took me to the urgent care there. The doctor was very, maybe like you did this to yourself, which was true. I mean, partially true, right? When you're an addict, or, when you have a disease, and sometimes in the beginning you're like, oh, I just want to be thin. I just want to lose weight. I just want to exercise. And people give you a lot of good feedback initially, right? And that helps boost your confidence, or your, endorphins, or whatever you're boosting. And then you get addicted to that feeling of doing the same thing. Right. But anyway, so she was very, I can't help you. You have to help yourself, or you have to find someone to help you. So I was really grateful that they gave me the resources to, get myself into treatment and those type of things. So.
Oh, good. I won't defend the doctor, but we do get jaded. I mean, we see as a paramedic, you'll run the same person at ODs, the same person that's drunk at the, I mean, we had people we could count on a weekend. Oh, we're going to get, this person, they're going to get too drunk and pass out, and their mom's going to call for us. So you do get a little jaded. But one thing I was an instructor. One thing I always tried to tell my students is sick people. Wait a minute, how do I word this? People that are addicted to drugs, alcohol, or whatever can still get sick. Don't overlook them and put your judgments in front of them, because you're not in their shoes. And Sometimes it is hard to do. I'll be honest. Like you just said, the doctor's like, well, you did this yourself. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I've run a bunch of people that drug addicts, and yeah, here we are again. Hey, how are you, Chris? So,
Yeah, but part of my reaction to that was, no, I'm not going to die from this. Like, it kind of pissed me off that she said that. And I was like, no, wait, I'm not going to die from this. I'm going to do whatever I can not to die from this. And so, at that point I was like, okay, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Tell me how to fix it and I'll do it. I mean, obviously you don't fix it in one day.
And an alcoholic will say, I'm not a drunk. I can handle it. I'm not a drunk. I can still do my stuff. So, they say the same thing. Right. So, and I really guess I never looked at it that way. And I appreciate you for opening my eyes a little bit on it, because I never thought of it that way. But another thing you said, when you got the rush from the endorphins and stuff, I was thinking in my head, that's the same thing I got from being a paramedic and a firefighter. The thrill running, when I retired or was kicked out, when I was in forced retirement, that was the worst part. I missed getting up at 3 a.m. and doing, being from dead asleep to wide awake. You do get addicted to that. That's a good rush, especially if you're helping someone. And so, yeah, I can totally relate to that. So that's awesome that you shared that. Thank you very much. So,
yeah, it was interesting. The psychiatrist that treated me, he only treated cocaine addicts and anorexics. He said they had the same brain chemistry. I was like, I'm not a drug addict. I'm not like them. But yeah, I was.
Yeah. Looking in that mirror is hard sometimes. When I was diagnosed with PTSD, I was like, that's for soldiers. That's not for me. And they're like, yeah, you're crazy. I'm like, oh, well, I knew that, but so, but crazy. But yeah, you don't look at it because you put it, no, that's somebody else. So, but yeah, and I was like, I had that aha moment at a very odd time, but yeah, it was, you do need to, and luckily I had somebody to kind of kick me in the butt and tell me, go do something. And it wasn't the missus for a change. So, she was usually the one that boots me in the butt. So we really went far away from the book that you were here to talk about, but I am glad that we're talking about that because it does bring awareness to it. So Chris says food addictions are so difficult. You cannot cut food completely out of your life like alcoholics and drug addicts do. You should feel so accomplished with your changes. Absolutely. Definitely. Do you ever worry about a relapse, or is that
I'm very regimented. I'm I eat 3 meals and 2 snacks a day. I never miss a meal. I probably haven't missed a meal or a snack in 30 years because I know that if I miss one, then the next day I'm going to say, I didn't eat that yesterday. I don't need that. And then maybe I drop another snack. I don't need that. I can miss both of those. And then you're like right back where you started. So yeah, I definitely have that addictive brain set. So yeah.
Interesting. And that again, I didn't think of it that way. Of course, when I'm on duty, I've went 24 hours on a shift without eating.
A normal person can. A normal person can. Yeah. Like you just don't think about it the same way. Yeah.
Interesting. No, I never thought about it. You got to cut this out. Tomorrow I don't need that. That makes sense.
I'm superhuman. I can do things other people can't.
You are.
They have to eat. I don't, which is not correct.
No, not at all.
No.
I love chocolate chip cookies too much, so I get in trouble for that. So
brownies are my vice. So.
Yes, I agree. I'm staying with Mom for a while, so she is I don't know how I didn't grow up with a food problem. She was a confectioner, baker, and everybody talks about, I grew up and I had Mom's meatball recipe, or I have Dad's spaghetti, or whatever. I got Mom's chocolate chip cookie. So I was surprised I didn't grow up to be 500 pounds and have a problem, because I don't remember eating real meals. I ate cakes and stuff she brought home from work and ice cream, and I was a fat kid. Still am. But so it's funny. Mom, as a baker, I will just relay this to you. if mom's depressed or down or something, she retreats back. Now that she's retired, she retreats back to the kitchen. I'll come in and there's like pies, there's cake, there's chips. I'm like, all right, so what do we need to talk about? You need to give this to your church. Stay away from it. Well, now, do any of your characters have this trait?
Well, like I said, Titania suffers from anxiety and panic attacks in the first book. And throughout the first book, she learns a little bit about how this is triggered and why it's triggered and how to control them and stop them before they happen, right? Because when you're a queen, you're a monarch, you're in battle, you don't need to be having a panic attack. So, so she has another character in the book that kind of can see her from the outside and helps her discover like what it is in her environment that is inducing these and causing this, and that so that she can like help understand herself and then kind of work herself out of it.
Are any of your characters based on like people you know in real life that you kind of take a personality trait from this one or something from that one? Or
I have so many different mix-mashes of personalities that probably a little bit of everybody I know is in one of my characters. But there's not really like one person that can be directly linked to another character. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, we take a, like you said, mix smash, I think you said.
Mismatch. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I knew what you meant. We're Southern.
Right,
We're Southern. You understand yinder and yonder. So yes. We're okay. For the people listening in Australia, they're going, what the hell did he just say? That's right. You are at an international audience tonight. So hopefully somebody listening, if they need some help, can get it. So, and Harley, I'm talking way too much. Jump in here. Say something. You're making me talk too much here.
Oh, you're fine. I'm tired, so.
Oh, so that's your excuse.
I spent all day talking already, so.
Yeah, you kind of get a job where you have to. So, no, I'm out of dealing with people. So, and you did, Tricia, what's your day job, or can you say? You a teacher or something?
No, I'm a patent agent, so I help people draft and file their patent applications. So very like technical writing by day and then fantasy writing by night.
Well, that's very technical. So, I mean, you have to like down to the screws and nuts and bolts and stuff.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. So yeah, you do go from what I see why at night you're like, okay, got to get away from this. So.
Fantasy is, yes, good for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris says, I lost over 110 pounds and completely changed my diet life. 2 months ago, I finally got taken off of diabetes medicines because his A1C has been under 6 for 2 years now. Congratulations, Chris. Congratulations. I have yet to get the energy to go get a gym or go do any of that stuff. So, it is a lot about that. It's about having the energy to do things. So like I said, I used to be a ball of fire. I'm out doing stuff, but now I don't have it. So Brenda says she was on a plane all day. That's no excuse, Brenda. So fix your internet. Get back here, Brenda. So Tricia, we talked about where to get your stuff. We talked about your website. We talked about what's coming up for you.
What advice do you give young authors who are coming up in the industry?
Ooh, good idea.
Oh, young authors coming up in the industry. I think just to start and just to write what you love, and then, do the research. I wasn't a creative writer. I was a scientist and a technical writer. Never thought I would write creatively. And then I started once I knew I wanted to write these books, I started taking lots of different courses about plots, character, world building, character development, what a plot and story should look like. So yeah, I think if you love it, just do it and keep learning about it. And so, there's so many resources online now. It's great.
I was going to ask, have you ever used AI or? Because that seems to be a big
I
thing.
I don't use AI. It's interesting because my author group was just talking about AI this past month, but yeah, I don't use AI at all. I mean, like, yeah, word prediction and emails is as far as I get for AI.
Mine's going, why did it just read my mind? Yeah, well, do you think AI is going to ruin people's creativity as far as writing and stuff?
No, I don't think so. I think, I mean, you're still asking questions, being creative, and a lot of people will, and a lot of authors too, will take like a little bit of a story that AI starts and then write, they might get 7 pages from AI and then write a 700-page novel or a 400-page novel or something. That's, that's just the little itty bitty beginning of like what they're going to create. So, either way you do it works.
Yeah, kind of what use it to kind of jumpstart you when you get into a block. Do you ever get into blocks where you just feel like you can't write?
I do, yeah. So like I said, there was like 6 months time when I finished my book and when I released it, and I was kind of in like a lull. Like I usually write all the time, and I was just kind of like, I don't know where because I didn't have the idea for where I wanted to go next, right? I mean, I had to start to one story, but I think I was like sort of PTSD on my characters. Like I put them through so many bad things that I just couldn't put another character through another heartache or bad thing. Like it emotionally affects me when I have to put my characters through this. So to like think about even like in a love story, when if somebody is going to get their heart broken, I couldn't even go that far, right? So I'm just getting back to writing the short story and writing another romance. So so hopefully we'll pick up from there.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna get you out of here because we've probably taken too much of your time, and I got Kay waiting back here. So when you complete the romance, I'm not a romance guy, but will you come back and talk to us?
Of course I will. I'd love to.
I'm the romance one here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I read science fiction and comic books. So, Tricia, did you read comic books growing up?
No, sorry. I didn't really know that comic books existed when I grew up. I don't know that there was a comic book store in my town. Like, I mean, I read the Saturday comics or the Sunday comics in the newspaper, but I didn't know anybody who read comic books. So I don't even know if there was a store in my hometown or any way to get them. So
you're missing some great genres and some great independent authors. So
yeah, I've heard that, and obviously now I know about them, but at the time I did not.
But I'm told by some of them who've been guests, it's harder to write a comic book than it is to write a novel.
I would think so. It was harder for me to write a short story than it was to write a novel. Because I had to go back and I wrote one, and the person for the anthology was like, no, this is not working here. And they had to like help me pare down. Okay, you have one main character, maybe 2 extra characters, and you only have 1 plot line. You don't have 3 going on at one time. So, yeah.
So, were you mad at him from telling you that?
Yeah, you get a little defensive, and then you're like, okay, maybe I'm not the expert on this. So I was happy at the end. So.
Yeah, I think I would get butthurt. I'd be like, no, they're supposed to be doing all this stuff. So it's a trait from your real life. You're always busy.
Right. And part of it was an outtake from a book that I was writing, and I knew the characters and I knew everything about them and I knew their world, and somebody who had been reading the series would know the world and understand everything I wrote, but somebody new jumping into it would not know the background or or any of that stuff. So you had to make sure that it was a story unto itself, that somebody that knew nothing about it could jump in and understand. So that's a difference. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, because it's hard to jump into the series. Even in TV shows, it's hard to. So, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So, all right, Tricia, well, go feed your kitty. What's your cat's name?
Smokey.
Smokey. Well, go feed Smokey. We've deprived Smokey for too long. So,
well, thank you for having me. This is tons of fun, and I will definitely come back.
It is. Thank you very much. I'm sorry it got off to a scatterbrained start, but
no, enjoy talking to Kay. She's a wonderful lady.
Yeah, she's been very patient back here. Hopefully she's not a CIA agent and she's not put a hit out on me or anything.
Ooh, yeah. She's a murder writer, so
yeah. So yeah. Be careful of them. That, and then I got I don't know if you know, the lawyer in Atlanta that writes, that's represented by Mickey. He is great too. I'll get a lawyer after me too. So I love you guys, and I appreciate Mickey. Tell him thank you, by the way. I really appreciate him sending all of you wonderful people to me, because we're one of the only shows that likes to bring people on and talk to real people, not somebody who's always out in the woods looking for Bigfoot or going building ghosts. We like to talk to real people, and then you have a great paranormal story too. So, it makes sense to me. So, all right, Tricia, I could talk to you all night. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Have a great night. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, Harley. So everybody, we always have two guests, and we kind of got off schedule with the show going haywire. So we got kind of backwards here, but we do have a second guest here, and Kay has been patiently waiting back here, and I do apologize. So we had a technical difficulty. And when I started the studio, I don't know if you heard, but when I started the studio and went in, it was fine. And then I hit go live and it wasn't fine. It was everything was gone. Everything was gone. I had to totally start all over. So thank you for your patience. I do appreciate it. And I do apologize. Sometimes live shows, things go nutty. So.
Oh, absolutely. No problem.
Okay.
I love doing podcasts, but I think the thing that makes me the most nervous is just seeing if we're going to have a connection and all that, and I got your email and I said, oh, okay. I'll try that link.
Sometimes you just can't control things.
No, you just can't. No.
So Kay, I could talk about your book, and it wouldn't do any good too, because I wouldn't do it justice. This is a stunning idea built around the Cold War. Tell us about it.
Well, this book, it is fiction because I had to change everyone's names and locales sometimes, but basically the story is verbatim truth. So this story has, it is a spy book. It is a spy thriller, but it's got a whole different feel to it because the situation determines who the main spy is going to be. And in this case, she is an American international opera singer. And she goes over thinking she's on a Fulbright grant to study and get her first apprenticeship done, her international apprenticeship. And in truth, she's been vetted by the CIA for 2 years in graduate school, in the United States. And that is why she gets the Fulbright, and because they need to get her over there. And so she attempts at applying for the Fulbright, and you have to have 3 countries, and obviously she wants to be an apprentice in an international opera house. And so she wants to go to Italy. But what happens is she gets her third choice, which happens to be Austria. And, right from the beginning, that seems weird to her because she's an Italian opera singer. She sings Verdi and Puccini. And here they are going to send her to Austria, where Wagner and all the German, composers are so big. But there is one thing she sings that makes sense why she might be in Austria is she does sing Mozart. And Mozart is king in Austria and Germany, as far as opera goes. And so she's over there and they tell her, well, you have to go to language school more. And she can't understand this because she speaks German pretty well. But they're like, no, we want you to talk like a native. And so we're going to give you extra months before, you have to, go to your apprenticeship. So she does that. And immediately weird stuff starts happening to her. She's staying in a dorm at the University of Vienna, and she meets a guy at this language, the Goethe Institute, where she's taking language. And he's Dutch, and they start a relationship. But she notices all the time if she's by herself, she's being followed. And about 3 weeks on, her name is Caitlin Stewart, and she is from Pioneer Stock in Iowa, and she is a little fireball. And so she sets up a sting with these guys that are following her and loses them, okay, on purpose, right? Because she's getting pretty teed off about being followed everywhere. And this kind of brings everything up to the surface. So now they're going to have to come to her and approach her and tell her what's been going on and hope they can recruit her. Well, you can imagine what she thinks. I mean, she went over there to become a great international opera star. She did not go over there to do cloak and dagger work, okay? So, you know, they sort of, well, they have this guy she's dating, this Dutch guy who ends up being a CIA agent, you know, that was recruited from the Netherlands. And it pretty much just throws her in a car. So now, you know, she's been apprehended, and there's 2 American guys in the front, which is supposed to make her calm down, right? But she's not too calm, you know. And they're like, "We just want to talk to you about a job." And she's like, "There must be some kind of misunderstanding. I can't have any more gigs until I get over my contract with my apprenticeship. So, you know, you can just let me out now." And they're like, "No, this has nothing to do with singing, and well, it does have to do with singing, but it has nothing to do with your grant or all. You're fine. We just need to talk to you." So, you know, they take her to a park in Vienna, you know, where the peacocks are going and the children are playing. And it feels surreal to her because, you know, she's with these 3 huge, you know, CIA agents, which she doesn't know they're CIA yet. And they take her to some real distant part in the park, and they sit down. And so she's across from them, and she's like, "What is going on?" And they're like, "Well, we're the CIA, and we really need to recruit an American, young, beautiful prima donna of Mozart. And you fit all of those categories. And we need you for a specific reason. We want you to be a high profile information gatherer. And this is what's going on." And she stands up and she says, "Look, I don't know where you people are coming from, but this is just not my bag." Okay. So she turns around to leave. And as she's leaving, the chief says, "But what if you could help bring down the Berlin Wall?" Well, that stopped her. You know, her dad was a World War II veteran. Her cousin's been a Vietnam veteran. I mean, the family's got a big, you know, history of serving their country. So she turns around. She's like, "Well, what am I going to do? I'm just an apprentice, you know, from Iowa. I mean, what am I going to do? Hit a high C and knock the dang thing down?" I mean, you know, she just thinks it's ridiculous. You know, she's a real smartass. And so, you know, they all start laughing and they go, "No, but you got all these things that you can do we can't do. And that is to infiltrate certain groups here in Vienna that are high echelon. We're talking prime ministers, you know, villa, all these places. You will be invited to them because that's part of your apprenticeship, and you will be out singing for these people. And you've got the gowns, and you've got the jewelry, and you've got all the trimmings that goes with an international opera singer. And the man that we're really after, you know, that is the big one in the West for this cartel, is an absolute opera freak. And he's pretty much banking the opera house where you work." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. I think I may have met him." And they're like, "Yeah, well, he's a pretty bad dude." So what's going on is that the USSR lets all these countries go at the end of the Cold War. If you remember, Czechoslovakia, Romania, et cetera, okay? Well, when they do this, they leave no infrastructure whatsoever for these people to continue. You know, I mean, basically their whole societies just crash, and it's anarchy. And the Russian mafia runs in, and I mean, people don't have any jobs. I was staying in Budapest, where I did not have running water or electricity on the same day. There was nothing to eat. You go to restaurants, they would not have food. People did not have food. So what are people going to do from all these countries? They're going to pack up what they can carry, walk, take a train, whatever, to the nearest Western country at that time. Well, for a lot of them, that was Austria. So now we've got a perfect storm brewing because the prime minister at that time was Kurt Waldheim, and he ran on what basically was a Nazi ticket, and he won. So that kind of shows you the political climate of the people of Austria. Now, do you think they're going to want all these poor refugees rushing in? Do you think they're going to open them with the, open arms and say, oh, here's jobs, here's housing, blah, blah, blah? No, of course not. They say, go away. So groups like the Catholic Social Services and the Mennonite Relief Fund and UN and Red Cross go rushing in, and they put up these huge, tent, refugee camps on the side of Vienna. And there the people sit. And every day, if they try to leave the camp, the Austrian, people are just like, throwing things at them and trying to have them arrested and, all this stuff. I saw a thing myself. I was there at the time, and I went to the grocery store, and some lady came running up to me as I was parking my bike. And she said, I don't know what she said because she was speaking in some Slavic language I couldn't speak. But she said, I need food for my children and myself. And so I shook my head yes and started to walk to the store, inside the store, and there was police there guarding it. And one policeman pulled me over to the side, and we had a very unsavory conversation in German about, if you blankety blank blank buy her one thing, I'm going to arrest you.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. And I said, hey, buckwheat, I'm an American, and I have a right to buy food for anybody I want. If you arrest me, this is going to be a big deal, okay? Because I'm somewhat of a celebrity, so really back off. And so I went in and I bought the stuff I thought they needed. Come back out, and now he's pushed her way back, into the parking lot, and so I'm like trying to find her, and so I see her, and she's waving, and so I walk really fast, with because I had the stuff in my bike basket, so I'm pushing my bike really fast there to get it to her, and he comes running behind me and grabs me, and I know martial arts, okay, so I'm like, back off, buddy. I'm gonna do something to you. And so I thought I was gonna have to fight this guy. And so he lets me go, and I give the stuff to the kids. They run away because she's got a baby in her arms, right? And then, she's just trying to, I'm like, no, go, because I'm afraid he's gonna hurt her. And so she runs, and I turn around, and he spits all in my face.
Oh, hell
and
no.
Calls me a blankety blank blank American. And I was like, walk away. So I just broke away, actually.
You're like, oh, hell yeah, here it comes. I'm open a can whoop ass.
Yeah, wanted to. And so that was one of my very first experiences when this started happening. And so I got a kind of attitude about it. And what's more is I was hanging out with a lot of people that were more liberal, that were trying to help out there. And so at some point I get asked in, like, hey, can you get some entertainment for these children here? A lot of the richest people in Vienna, can you get them to, donate some money or toys or, anything, And so I'm like, sure. So I'm a true eyewitness to a lot of what happens to the refugees in this book. What this book truly shows you is how politics evolves into human trafficking. Mm-hmm. And what is it really like to be a part of that, to be a refugee that is trafficked. And it's different for different categories of people. And this book, talks about those different categories. But the one that I really zoom in on, and it's kind of strong in my heart, is what happens to the women that are trafficked. And I mean women from senior citizen all the way down to, let's say, 11, 12 years old, and everything in between. And this book is sometimes graphic, but I was holding back, and each time my editor went, I think you're holding back. I think you're holding back. And so now what you read in this book is not held back, and it will shock you, some of the things that happen to these women. And that's why Caitlin Stewart says yes to being, to going out and doing what she needs to do, find out information for CIA, and MI6 was also involved in this mission. What happens though with Caitlin, she starts out a pacifist. Like, oh, I don't believe in war, and oh, maybe if I can collect this information that will keep wars from breaking out, and da. But as there's so many plot twists in this mission, where she's supposed to be able to, stand aside. Now you've done your part. You got into the village. You planted your bugs. You asked the questions. But as the mission progresses, things keep happening where she has to take that next step, to where in the end she's a full combat field mission, a field agent. So in the mission, so she's really, really evolved. And she still uses opera singing as her cover, but she's a kick-ass spy.
It sounds like a very interesting book.
Thank
you.
Like
an interesting life.
Yeah, you might say that. So, you were speaking about PTSD when you were speaking to Trish, yourself. You said you had it. This book actually started out as a PTSD journal for me. I just had so many things I had witnessed and so many things I had seen. And the last being that I lived in New York for 17 years, and that was my home base. And I had just retired and was starting a conservatory. And it was literally across the street from the Twin Towers. And so, boom, there goes another, whole PTSD episode. And so after that, because, you're talking about seeing stuff at the end of the Cold War. The second book I'm writing for Caitlin Stewart is during the Bosnian War. And there's about ethnic cleansing and all this wonderful stuff. And so, she's just had PTSD upon PTSD upon PTSD. But when her home front, is totally devastated by 9/11, she decides she has to go back to the CIA and help them figure out all that mess. So, so
did she decide, or did her handlers decide?
Pardon me?
Did she decide, or did her handlers decide?
Well, more the second. Let's face it, you're never retired if you're in the CIA.
I got friends. Yeah, I got friends. So you got a call the same day of 9/11. He said, "You look like a lot of them. I need you to do something."
Yeah, and I don't think anybody was going to say no on that day. But so anyway, so I'm in this whole PTSD situation, and I finally decide I'm having so many panic attacks, and insomnia is like crazy, right? And I've moved back to the Midwest. I'm trying to, start a new school, and it's really kicking my butt. So finally I hear of a really good treatment center down in Waukegan, Illinois, that's at the Navy base. And since I had never been in the Navy, there had to be a little shenagle. So it was like, okay, I'll come and do music therapy there free if I get to do some of this therapy with you, kind of thing. And I did music therapy and I did art therapy, and that was doing well, and regular therapy. And then, he suggested that I write a journal. So I started writing this down, and I just started from the beginning of what I thought was the first things that really got to me. And I started handing them to him or his intern, and I got really good reactions from both of them. Were like, wow, you should make this into a book. I'm like, look, I'm an opera singer and I'm a teacher, and that's all I've ever done in my life. I've never thought about writing a book. I don't think so, But after about 6 months, I kept talking to my folks and, my peeps about it. And they were like, you really should. We've always wanted to have this whole we just got little pieces from you, like, oh, yeah, this, oh, that, blah, blah, blah. We don't know what that means. Why don't you write the whole stories down, And so I was like, well, and so I started trying, I was a very busy person. I was still singing. And I had a big studio and lots of students, but I said, well, maybe I can just take a little bit at night and start trying to write this. Well, that was going pretty slow. And then something in my own personal life happened where my mom got really sick it's a type of Alzheimer's. It's called Lewy body. And I had missed so much being with my mom as an adult because I was always somewhere and sometimes not able to even talk to her, that I decided I wanted her to move in with me and I would take care of her. And so that kind of put a lot of other things on hold. And I found that doing that all day, I needed an escape. And so this book was sort of my savior to wash away what had happened that day. And so I really dug into it, and I wrote a whole book because I seriously didn't know what I was doing. So I just wrote the whole 90,000 page, book. And then I go, well, I guess I should have some professionals look at this and see what they think, So I was really lucky to be close to UW-Madison. Lots of writing professors and such there, and authors and all. So, I knew a couple of them. They said, well, for that genre, I'd say go to this person. And so I handed this woman this book, and she was like, you wrote the whole book? I'm like, yeah. Am I not supposed to do it? She's not usually, no, but that's okay. And so I said, well, I'll pay you if you just read the whole thing and, make some notes and let me know. So, she got back to me in like a month. We met for coffee, and she was like, okay, this is the deal. This story is amazing, but you really don't know how to craft it. And I'm like, okay, I'll buy that. And she said, so I would suggest some classes, that you could take and find out more about how to, write a book. And so I did so. And I was encouraged but I was scared because everyone at those classes already had lots of education in writing, had been writing for years. And here I am, the opera singer walks in, don't know a thing, right? And so I was really scared. And then they said, oh, we'll be reading a little bit every time. And I'm like, oh my God, they're going to read it in front of someone, And to my surprise, my book became the real popular one in that class. And at the end, the professor even asked if I would like him to co-author with me. And I thought, well, I'm a businesswoman now. See, I've been around the world and I've done a lot of stuff. And so I'm like, well, I may not know about writing, but if this guy wants to be a co-author, I got some, right? So why should I share that? I don't think so, right? And so I just need to learn how to do it on my own. I'm kind of an independent person. So I said, well, thanks, but no thanks. And then I took James Patterson's masterclass, and that was the real turning point for me.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Someone gave that for me for Christmas. Yeah. I have read every one of his books at that point. Okay. Loved him. My whole family loved him. Watched his movies, whatever. So I get a TA, in this masterclass. And he's like, wow, this is really out of the box. Opera singing spy. Who'd have thunk, you know? And I'm like, well, sometimes, you know, life's more interesting than fiction, you know. But anyway, so at one point, you know, he's like, okay, this is better, but you need to do a new draft and you need to write it like a movie. You're an actor. I said, funny enough, that's what I thought I wanted it to be all along. And they said, oh, no, you can't get anybody to look at your, think of it as your book as a film unless you have a book first. You know, okay, well, that ends up not being so true, just so you know. But I believed it. And so I said, okay, well, that will be easy for me because I am an actor. And that's when the book really started coming to life as a thriller and a page turner. And I was very, very lucky to have that TA. And finally, he came back and said, well, you got the nod, because he thought that that was really a cool idea. He likes out of the box characters, and yours is. And it's also about a time when a lot of, you know, compared to, you know, World War II spy stories, you know, I mean, there isn't a lot about the Cold War, you know, and so, and especially no women agents. Well, there's a reason for that, is that Caitlin's the first woman to be in the field in that kind of mission in 1988, you know, so there you go, you know, and so she's a real glass ceiling breaker, you might want to say. Okay. But anyway, they coined the phrase, those guys, opera singing warrior. And they said, go for it. And they said, by the way, we think you might be self-publishing, because I don't think a publisher is probably going to touch that thing, you know. And long story short, you know, I get to the point where, you know, I'm with my 5th final draft. I'm really happy with it. And so I'm peddling it. And I keep getting, you know, I do about 10, 15 agents a week. And I always get the nod no. I mean, not the nod, the no nod, you know. And they say, yeah, you really can write, but I just don't know if I can sell an opera singing spy, you know. And so I go to my first conference, and you know, I now I'm pitching live to agents, and oh, they all love me. That, you know, I'm kind of a persuasive speaker, so I didn't think that would be a problem. And they loved the stories, and they were all women that I talked to. And they said, okay, I'm going to go back to my agent. I'm excited about this. Go ahead and send half the book, blah, 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 blah. And so I did. Long story short, none of the agencies would let them go forward with it. Just didn't believe about an opera singing spy. So at that point, I'm pretty pissed off. And so I said, okay, pardon me?
I said, sure. Yeah, I would be.
I mean, okay, you know, yeah. So I had taken some of their courses on hybrid publishing and, you know, and self-publishing, and I had all my papers there. So I just started researching things and decided to go that way. And, you know, talked to one of the presidents that I got to work with, said, always have your 5 people that you can call about anything, anytime, even 2 a.m. They'll pick up the phone and they'll tell you their opinion, and make sure they're damn smart people, right? All right. So I conferred with all 5 of my people, and they said, publish it yourself. You clawed your way up to the top from a Midwestern farm town. You climbed your way all the way up to the top of the Metropolitan Opera. I think you can probably figure this book thing out too, but you're probably going to have to do it kind of like you did opera, out of the box. And I'm like, okay. So I own a home. So I literally, take an equity loan to publish my own book.
Oh, wow. That's a huge step.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? You got to really believe in it. But I already done it when I got here the first time to start a school. And it really ended up going, really, really well. So I thought, what do I have to lose, And so I did it. And I made sure that the publishing company that helped me was out of the United States. That was going to keep the CIA off my ass a lot. I mean, the statute of limitations had passed for this, for these facts, but that doesn't matter, right? And so I originally looked in UK, and I thought I found someone, and then I found somebody in Canada, and I thought, I did all my research on them. They're all, they get good grades, and I called up some of the authors, and they're like, oh yeah, it was a really good experience. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go with these people, and I did. And so the book came out in August, almost a year ago. And then, I had forgotten the part about marketing. And so, I sold some books, just on what was going on, because I got some really good editorial reviews right off the bat, and then some good reader reviews. And then it was like, okay, we were kind of dead in the water. And then I realized I have to learn about marketing, and I have to learn about publicity, because that's probably different than being a singer. And so I took a women's publishing seminar in late winter of this year. And I was watching all these marketing people give their presentations. And I ran into this gal, and I was like, that's my woman. That's the one I need. And so I got a hold of her, and I have a graduate student that's my assistant, because I'm an old lady. I do not understand social media and such things as that. And she needed the bucks, and I needed her. She knew everything about how to do that. And I said, okay, so now I have my person who's knowledgeable about all this stuff, and I can just be the face, and she can do all the computer stuff, to put it everywhere in the world. And this woman thought it was a great idea. And then she brought Mickey into it as a publicist, because she does something a little different. And I signed a contract, and it's just been a blast. I think this may be, I've been doing it about 2.5 months, and I think you're like my 28th podcast. And then I've done blogs and radio shows and TV shows too. So, this is the new world. This is the way to do it, to get the word out there about your book.
What got a president elected? So yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're no Joe Rogan, but but I mean, right now you're being heard in Australia, and you're on internet radio. So you're worldwide right now. People are glued to their speaker right now. Or come over here to the chat and ask some questions, because wow, I've been watching the numbers. I don't know about the internet radio side, but awesome. Yeah. We're just a little guy, but that
doesn't matter. I mean, I was just asking my nephew about that on Saturday night. So he's an international martial artist. Okay. And I mean, like, he works with Bruce Lee's teacher, Dan Ensenada. I mean, my nephew's like 10th degree black on a bunch of different things. Okay. And anyway, I was asking him, I said, you know what? I've been on a couple biggies, and there was a lot of people listening, and that was really cool, and it's got more views since. But, I think what I enjoy, I guess it's just because I'm a startup myself, but I enjoy the smaller ones. And I enjoy just like Tricia, I was on hers. Well, she was actually, I think, the second one I did way back a few months ago. And, and it's nice to see when those numbers go up for them, that because my girl, Megan, she just keeps throwing it out there, she has a rotation. And so you'll see, well, it might kind of slow down, and then boom, it goes up again. This because she threw it out there again, and I'm on everything under the sun. I'm on things I don't even know what are, and people will say, what's blue sky? And I'm like, I don't know, but the kids love it, and then, And then there's one called Litzy. I didn't know there was one for just, authors, but yeah,
Never
she
heard of
finds them all. And she's just relentless with her, she's got this whole system. She's very mathematical about it. And it's just it catches up numbers, And so I think that's, in my own way, a little more exciting to get more listeners listening to not such the big woohoo big ones,
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the whole premise why I started this show. Is I like to interview normal people or authors, actors, athletes. And then I love to hear your story. Geez, I've got a million questions. But at the end of the stories, I'm going to say, hey, now I want to know about your paranormal experiences, because I know you've had some. And so that's kind of my little hook. And because you could, like I was telling Tricia, you can interview all the Bigfoot. And what happens is you get in a loop of speakers.
Mm-hmm.
And in the paranormal world, there's only so many of them. And so you get stagnant. And I don't like that. I want something new. I want something interesting. I want to hear your story. I got an MMA fighter who makes pickles and is a 15th ranked woman in the United States as far as fighter, but she loves my show. And that's what I want. And I told her one time we interviewed, I said, these are questions ESPN's asking you. So that's what I like. I enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
I want to circle back. One question I got a million, but when you said president, you mean like the guy that sits at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've worked under some presidents. You might call me a singing ambassador.
I understand the current
president
likes opera. I've heard that. So
I think he likes it a little, and I do have a story about President Trump. So this is way back, right after 9/11. And he and some other very, high society falutin East Siders decided they were going to do some receptions and, kind of like fundraising dinners that would have entertainment and that kind of thing for all the fallen service people's families. Okay. And everything right after 9/11, all Broadway went dark, all opera went dark. So the only time Metropolitan Opera ever was dark was at that period. And so all those contracts you signed are gone, right? And with me, I had also started the school. Well, my school's literally destroyed. Mm-hmm. And many of the parents of the students that were going are now deceased. So basically, okay, I've got New York rent. How am I going to pay that? And my nephew's living with me and he's college age, and so I have his responsibility too. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to do anything I can do. So I'd sung at Gracie Mansion a few times. And so the mayor's office, Giuliani's office, calls me up. Hey, do you want to sing the state, memorial funerals and funeral masses? Most of them were memorials because there was no body. Because way back you sang for the diocese when you first got here in New York, all the literature, you had the strong voice, you can, sing these long things, and you have, clearance. So you'd be like the perfect person for this, And I'm like, well, it's like they had no idea. It was like saving us, if I said yes. So I said yes. So I was doing the rallies and the funerals, and I was singing 7 days a week for everything to do, with 9/11. So anyway, so I can say I worked for him, but this is funny. This is when he was a Democrat and he was really good friends with the Clintons. So I knew him way back, I knew Mayor Giuliani way back then too, and he was different then too. So, I guess when you live long enough, you see a lot of stuff change and go down.
I agree. Yeah.
But yes, he does like opera. I think that's one reason I got hired is because, I was an opera singer.
Yeah, I'd heard that. I think he gets a lot of bad press too, but I don't want to get on a political thing, but I think he gets a lot of bad press.
Well, yeah, I think any politician does. And I know that when you're in the CIA, you really are asked not to vote because really,
I didn't know that.
You got to serve whoever.
That's true. Yeah.
So you can have your own opinions and you can be of a party if you feel like it. But the truth is, at the end of the day, you have to take orders from that administration. So,
That's true. That's true. I never thought of that. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, because you serve at his pleasure, so you kind of got to do what he asks. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to definitely make a big decision on, how things are handled. And either way, when you get an order, you get an order.
Yeah, you got a job to do, So, and you're a professional. I'm a paraprofessional. We know about unlawful orders, but at the end of the day, you still you're on the hook. So,
yeah.
And you went through some fascinating periods of time because, historically, we went from the Cold War to 9/11, and I don't think there was a great transition there, really. As far as me growing up, I never felt like there was a transition. I felt like, I lived in Washington, D.C. at the time where in school, they would kill the power to the school and start yelling, "Get under your desk, prepare for the nuclear bomb." So I remember that stuff vividly. And then I was a young adult and I got married, and then 9/11. I don't, there was not a whole lot of transition. Things were going on in the world. Obviously, you know about these things, but I don't think there was a great transition, and suddenly, boom, we're back to doing something else. It's like everything shifted. It's like with COVID, the paradigm shifted.
But see, I grew up in Oklahoma, so we had the tornadoes where you got under the desk and went out in the hall and put the books over your head. But we also had the Oklahoma bombing. So
right.
And then we had 9/11 and everything else.
Yeah. I look at the bombing in Oklahoma, if you're looking at, domestic terrorism, that was a huge turning point. I remember that I was a young adult. I believe, do you remember what year that was?
In 99, 95.
95. Okay. So I'd gotten out of, I had been out of school then, but I just remember when I found out about that bombing. To me, that was something that, you didn't think about that would never happen.
My elementary school that I was going to at the time, because I was in second grade, it shook the whole building when the bomb went off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You were that close.
My mother and my stepfather at the time was supposed to go downtown that day to get their marriage license. The day that the bombing happened, everyone told them that was a big omen not to get married. Yeah, they got divorced. Not many years after that.
Yeah. I just watched a documentary not too long ago on the bombing of Oklahoma City. And I think that we, it's been kind of pushed over to the side a little, since 9/11 and things like that. But I think that was a terrible travesty. And like I say, I think that was a huge turning point for, America. And
Well, you know, Timothy McVeigh's last meal was 2 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream.
I never knew that. No.
Well, we did the whole serial killer's last meal on the asylum, and he was in that list, and his was 2 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream, and that was it. That one stuck with me because of the fact that I grew up not far from where the bombing happened, and it affected us.
Of course, absolutely. What I remember is those pictures of the first responders with those little kids that came out of that will always be in my mind, of those small toddlers.
Like the buildings around where it was, you could see some of them still have the burn marks on it.
Today, you can still see that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah. Well, I was there. I was in New York. I was living in New York when 9/11 happened, and I will never be able to erase some of those first day images that I witnessed. And
absolutely,
I have to tell you, this is sort of a more spiritual, paranormal thing, and I want to tell you later about a scary paranormal thing I experienced. But when I was doing those funerals, almost immediately, right off the bat, I was doing one in Queens at a big cathedral. They always had these big cathedrals, and then all these communities could come, And then, of course, so many people would come. They would be outflowing on the streets, and they'd have a fleet of priests going out to, give communion, and they had speakers on the telephone poles so people could hear. It was a huge, huge event. Every one of these funerals, big, usually there was some kind of, big like parade that came, with the bagpipers and everything. And then they come into the cathedral. And so you can kind of imagine 5,000 people in a cathedral. And of course, the family's up here and the dignitaries are up here, and I'm facing everybody, right? I'm just right by the altar where the priests are. I'm down a little bit, leader of song. And most of them didn't have bodies.
Yeah.
So they would take huge pictures. Usually they're what I would call, I guess, official pictures of if they were police or firefighters or whatever they may be, because, they'd be in their dress uniforms, and they'd put one on each side of these huge altars, right? So one of them's real close to me. I'd always be standing by one of those great big pictures. And every family, they would pick the music, and every offertory was always Schubert's Ave Maria. I sung that every time. Okay. I mean, I could just guess before I even looked at the list what the offertory would be. And so about the third funeral I did, so it was early on, it was a Hispanic firefighter that had lost his life, and he had a very young family. He was probably in his late 20s at the most. Okay. And so he has this little, I'd say 5-year-old girl, and she's in this beautiful little dress, and the family's here in the pew, the pew right, the very beginning of right here. And everyone's shifting around because it's offertory. And all of a sudden, I start singing Ave Maria, and I see her go in front of like her grandma, and go in front, front of her mom, and and all of a sudden she's in the aisle, and like her mom tried to catch her, and she's just walking right up the steps of the altar. And 5,000 people, including that day, the vice president, of course, the mayor, all these dignitaries, everybody's staring at this little girl, right? And we're singing, and she comes up to the picture, and she puts her hand on what would be his cheek. And it's one of those spontaneous things that happens where everyone in the congregation just starts sobbing, right? And that energy, to feel that energy come at you, and you're trying to get through this singing. And so I learned very quickly how to sing and swallow tears at the same time. And I'm just like, I'm looking up at, way up in the loft where the organist is, and he's got a rear view mirror type. I'm just like, I don't think I can keep going, And so I stopped. And about that time, she turns to me, and I lean down, and she says, "Don't stop singing. That's when the angels come see my daddy."
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, okay, this poor child. And it just breaks my heart. But I turn around and I start singing again. Many people that day said they saw the very same thing, including some of those dignitaries. When we got in the helicopter to fly off to the next one, they said, yeah. And there was another one where there was many sightings of Mother Mary. Because, when you're singing Ave Maria, sometimes they'll take the flowers and go take it to, Mary's, and lay them at her feet. A lot of people saw her hanging out. And so it became this kind of side story that New York One was doing about these angels showing up or Mary showing up, And it got to be like one day I had a hardware problem and I had a day off, and I said to my nephew, we got to go get this fixed. We got to go to the hardware store. So we went out to Great Neck and we were going to this hardware store. I walk into the hardware store and the people are at the counter in the back, and all of a sudden they come running to me. They're all running to me. And I'm like, what the heck, And then they like grab me and hug me. And they're like, my God, you're the lady who sang at my nephew's funeral. He was killed in 9/11. And they're like, wow. and then they're like telling me that they see these things, right? And so this just got to be where I did not question it anymore. I really believed something was showing up at those things. And I think sometimes music has a way of opening up the universe and bringing in things that we usually don't experience. But music is that tie that ties us from one world to the other. And it just sort of breaks and does it. And I think at the most poignant times like 9/11, that can happen. So that's a cool paranormal story I have. Someday I'm going to take the time to write a book about singing those funerals because it was pretty amazing.
Yeah. And that's also, as a first responder, I can say this, that stuff gets on you. You know what I'm saying? You feel that emotion. You feel that energy. You were talking about one of the things you remember as a firefighter. I'm sure you've probably all seen it on TV or heard it. There's a noise that our air packs make if we don't move after 30 seconds. And it's a very distinct, high-pitched, shrill noise. And it's designed that way intentionally to get somebody's attention. That's why you always see firefighters were shaking our butt because we don't want the damn thing to go off. That day, no, it's a true story. That if you ever watch it, if you ever see a fire and they're wearing the air packs, they're wiggling every 30 seconds. You got to move that thing because it'll beep. And if you hear that beep, it's up here in your ear. You know, shit, I got to move.
Okay.
That day, out of all the horrible things I remember, there was hundreds of those going off. Nobody caught that but us, the first responders. We knew exactly what that meant. And that was one of my worst. I still have not been able to. I knew friends. I had friends that were firefighters with FDNY. I still have not been able to read a lot of the books about 9/11 or watch the documentaries and stuff. I can't do it.
It's hard for me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even my own interviews and stuff. I mean, my mom has them all taped, and she had them all there, and they're still here somewhere in the house. But I don't watch them. I don't watch much on 9/11. Like when a new documentary comes out, it's just too painful. It was one of those very saddest times of my life, and
Yeah.
I just lost so many people. Yeah.
Absolutely. I can't even begin to fathom how it would be to be like literally right there.
And another thing that, I should shout out a little bit is because I didn't realize this until I moved back to the Midwest, and I moved back to, a year after it happened. And so, of course, everybody's wanting to interview me from Minneapolis, Chicago, Milwaukee, everybody, because it's the year anniversary and I was there and I, played this part. And of course, it was still very raw for me. And one thing I realized is that people had no idea what the citizens of New York City were going through. And not just that day, but for months after. Mm-hmm. I mean, you couldn't go across the bridge without, them inspecting your car, and so you're talking long lines. So you'd have to start much earlier, in the day to get wherever you needed to go. My mom, it was my birthday on the 15th of September. My mom was trying to cheer me up, and she said, why don't you like to go out to the air quality in Queens was awful. So she said, let's go out to Jones Beach where there'll be a breeze, we can walk the boardwalk. And so we started driving out there on the Long Island Expressway, and man, it seemed like everybody had the same idea, but we finally got there, and we had to park on the other side of the highway, which we never had to before. And then you went under a tunnel under this road, and then you came up onto the beach side. And so we got all of our stuff and we're walking, through this tunnel. And I'll never forget it. When we got up the hill from the tunnel, you can see, the ocean. And on the whole entire horizon of Jones Beach, there was just one Coast Guard or Navy battleship after another. I mean, there was hardly any room in between them. And that was so weird to see that, because I've been out there so many times, and to see that, you knew you were in a war zone. Absolutely. The morning of, I had a big opera gig the night before. My mom happened to be visiting of all times. So she got up much earlier than I did because I'd been out real late. And all of a sudden she comes in my bedroom and she wakes me up, and I'm like, Mom, I told you I wanted to sleep. I didn't get to bed till about 3 a.m. She's like, no, you must come right now. And I'm like, okay. So I follow her to the living room. She had the Today Show on, right, when this happened. She goes, a plane just hit one of the Twin Towers. And I'm like, no, that would never happen, because my ex-husband was a pilot. I'm like, no. They would go into the river. They would never hit a building with all those people in it. And she went, but it happened. And I'm like, Mom, that's terrorism. That's not an accident. And about that time, number 2 hits. We both see it on the screen. And I said, we're at war. This is red zone. Yeah, and I just instantly, with all my training, went right into, all right, collect water in anything we have, shut all the windows, because we didn't know, what was in the air, what were they going to do to the water. We had no idea. And unfortunately, a lot of my family had passed away by then, and everyone in my family that was alive was myself, my nephew who lived with me and going to college, and my mom, who was visiting from Illinois. And that it was a terrible feeling to think that because of me, they were there, and now I was on an island and I couldn't get them off.
Wow. But your instincts kicked in. And, when I was in a training class, it was a CPR instructor course that morning, and they said, you need to take a break and get out here and watch this. And so we were watching it, and we were back and forth talking about, and I really didn't know a lot about pilots, but I'm going, man, how do you make that mistake? We're kind of bantering back and forth. And about that time, the second plane hits. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, in my mind, I was trying to process how 2 pilots could make that mistake, but coming out of my mouth, but coming out of my mouth was intentional. But I was literally trying to think, are there 2 pilots, that's stupid. I mean, that I was trying to process it, but I was going, no. And in fact, some of and I still have it, one of the FEMA textbooks from way back has a picture of the Twin Towers with a bullseye on it. And that was one of our books from, I'm showing my age here. Would that be the late 80s, I guess? So.
Well, they had tried to bomb it a few times before, remember? It was in the garage and, so yeah, I mean, I can definitely see why that picture you would have seen that, because it was one of the main targets in all of the United States, I would say.
They went to slap Western culture. So, but I could keep you forever. You've got an amazing story. You've got an amazing book. And like you said, you're never out. And luckily, you didn't have to hand your book off to somebody and say, here, read this for me. I like that. So it's
no. And working on the second book right now. Don't know exactly when I'll have that. I'm really busy right now. Fighting the bad guys. So, but I am working on the second book when I get a chance, and I'm hoping. I believe that one is my favorite. It's going to be a trilogy. So this book was about the end of Cold War. The second one's about the Bosnian War, and the third one is about 9/11 called. So the second book's Mission Impromptu, because she goes totally rogue and tries to go save a bunch of orphans, and so she's arrested in the end and everything. But it's a really good book. And her sidekick that time is a priest that has went AWOL because he got mad at the Catholic Church. And so they've just went off on their own, and they're going to try to keep these kids from being massacred. And so that's my favorite book. That's Mission Impromptu. And then the third one will be called Mission Homefront, because that's all about 9/11 and how she gets tied up in all that.
Absolutely. I do a daily news show, and I went off on a rant today. We were talking about, I'm sure both of you seen the picture of the little girl from Scotland that had to pull a large knife and a hatchet in order to keep grown-ass men off of her. Foreigners that had been brought into her country. They arrested her, the child, the 14-year-old that was protecting her and her 12-year-old sister. There's something wrong with this world when we get to that point. So
yes,
I went off on a big tangent, and I'm on leaning more to a side that I'm not on a popular radio station, and got some flack for it. But anytime you mess with, I have 3 rules: old people, this is a paramedic, old people, kids, and animals.
Yeah, I mean, those are my 3. Yeah, and that's why this book, it's a lot of times people that are, pretty much helpless, and these people just treat them worse than animals.
And a lot of people don't realize that's still going on, and we're funding it.
Yeah. So the International Labor Organization says that 21 million people are being trafficked right at this moment. 21 million around the world. Mm-hmm. And it's everything from senior citizens down to babies, right? And people say, oh, well, I haven't really seen it myself. It's not my backyard. Well, I live in a small college town now in the Midwest, in the upper Midwest, 17,000 people. And 2 months ago, their weekly paper, on the front of the weekly paper, were 7 men that were charged with several counts of human trafficking, prostituting underage, etc. So, sorry, folks, it's in your backyard. Open your damn eyes.
Exactly. Here in Knoxville, Tennessee, I'm visiting my mom. I live in Atlanta, and Knoxville Police Department, along with Homeland and I guess the FBI and whoever else, just had a sting and rescued a bunch of girls here in East Tennessee. And everybody's like, oh, it doesn't happen. It happens everywhere.
It does.
I was trained as a responder to notice it. to try, if somebody calls for help, you know, and they can't really say what's going on, you know, you kind of, there's sickness and stuff. And and that's the thing that pisses me off the most is when people say that doesn't bother me or that doesn't affect me. What the hell's wrong with you that it doesn't? That's a child, or it's a human. We could just go, it's a human, but I specifically say with the children, what's wrong with you? So, side question. This would be for your agent character. Do you think we're safe in the world today here in the United States?
Well,
that's a tricky question.
That's a tricky question. Well, let's put it this way. Sometimes my more liberal friends, you know, get a hunch that they need to leave the United States and go live somewhere else, you know, and that could be wherever, because, well, I just don't agree with it anymore, blah, blah, blah. And then before they do that, they come talk to their friend Kay, and they ask, okay, what do you think about that? I'm like, look, I've lived in a lot of different places, you know, through working visas. Okay, so I was literally living there. And I can tell you right now, I've enjoyed some of those places, and I've really not enjoyed some of those places. But for me and for my loved ones, I'm still going to bet on the United States over any other place for safety and for human rights. Okay, it's not good right now. It's not the best we've had, but it's still better than what I've seen out there. So yes, I relatively think we live in a safe place compared to most places. And I'm glad I'm an American, and I'm glad I'm able to be here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And my partner is someone who fought very hard. He's a South Asian to get his citizenship. And, you know, it's really wonderful to see someone that's been a citizen for only 4 years, to see how much he appreciates it. I think that's what really enforces it for me, you know, because he comes from not being an American to an American, and he says he never wants to leave here. So yeah, that's what I think. I mean, we got a lot of work to do, but we're still a damn good country.
I agree. And, you know, we can fight left, right, Democrat, Republican, whatever. But if something major happens,
we always come together.
Yeah, we're going to be kicking their ass.
I saw that in 9/11. I had neighbors that would, you know, okay, you know, because we had kind of, you know, different ethnic groups, like big Jewish area in Bayside, and we had Koreans, and, you know, and they kind of kept to themselves and blah, blah, blah. You should have seen what happened after 9/11. Everybody was out knocking on doors. Do you have enough food? Do you know, we got the flags out. We started flying. It was a different neighborhood after 9/11. So I guess, you know, all of you that didn't live through that may not understand that's still in us. But yeah, we can bicker about this and that. I don't like this president. I don't like this senator. But at the end of the day, somebody tries to come over here and bomb us or do something, we're going to stand together. I really believe that still.
Yeah, we're going to kick your ass. I agree. I agree. And I don't think that I don't think any one person on our side of the table is going to do something stupid to kick things off. I don't think it's going to be us. Even though everybody says, you know, well, he's crazy. And of course they said that about the last one too. So I think there's still adults in charge.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. And I think the hysteria that goes around all that is more for performance than it is in reality. You know, that is my opinion, you know, so I don't give that a lot of energy.
Yeah, I don't. I live stirring the pot sometimes.
Well, me too.
So, well, I mean, I think we're not alive unless we're questioning everything.
Absolutely.
We have to in order, and that's the way. As a paramedic, that was my job. Well, how'd you get that broken finger? How'd you cut your arm? How'd you do that? You know, you got to question everything. And so I think that's my mentality. And everybody says, oh, you're from the South. You're obviously a MAGA or whatever. You don't know me. So, you know, You don't know me.
Yeah.
And I hate those stereotypes. I hate somebody putting somebody in a box because I think that's where you start to go wrong. So, and the other thing I think start to go wrong is when you start name calling and doing stupid shit. I think that's just wrong. That's childish.
Me too. So. Yeah. And I mean, that's everywhere. I mean, I had to live in the South for a while. My ex-husband was from the South, from North Carolina. I moved down there for a while, and I couldn't believe all the stereotypical shit that went on about Yankees, because I'm from Abraham Lincoln's hometown. That's how my mother-in-law used to. This is Kay. She's my daughter-in-law, and she grew up in Springfield, Illinois, Lincoln's hometown. Like, oh yeah, that's gonna make them like me. And and he kept telling me that these things were prevalent, but I met him in graduate school, and it was in Kansas City, so I didn't know, and I couldn't believe it. When there were people that really didn't understand the Civil War is over, and
I got a great story about that. Yeah, bless your heart.
So it was a real education.
Yeah. I was born in Alexandria, Virginia. I'm sure you know where that is. Fairfax, I know you know where that is.
Yeah, I know where that is.
So I was on the Mount Vernon side, and once I got older, had to move down here in Knoxville with the rest of the family because it's just too damn expensive to live in Washington, D.C.
Oh, yeah.
And some of the jobs I got, they were like, "You're a damn Yankee, you're a damn Yankee." And finally, it just rubbed me, and I was like, "Wait a minute, did your all's GED not teach you where the damn Mason-Dixon line was for Christ's sake?"
I was going to say, wait a minute. Virginia was on their side.
yes, it was. So that was my comeback. It would always make them so mad. I was like, "Did your GED not teach that? Come on."
That's funny.
Holy cow.
Well, do you want to hear about my
scary
paranormal thing? Because I had it already. Okay.
Oh, yes. I will hear it. Tell me.
Yeah. In the early 90s, I get back from Europe for a while. And my mom, I realized my father had passed away, and my mom was quite a bit younger than him. And they lived out on this estate, and it became too much for her. And while I was over in Europe, I didn't realize it. So when I came back, I'm like, "Mom, we got to sell the house. We got to get you into town. I'm worried about you way out here." And so she did. And we thought we found this wonderful little used house for her, very close to where she was working, nice, neighbors and everything. She even knew the lady who had owned the house before her. She had passed away. But all right, so we move her in, and she remodels and everything, and I go about my life, and I'm living up in Chicago, about 4 hours away, right? All right, and so one night she calls me, and she says, "There's some weird stuff happening in this house, especially at night." And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean, Mom?" And of course, she's in deep grief right now, okay? I had no idea that my mother was like the mother of mediums, okay? I had no idea until this moment, right? And she said, "Yeah, I think about your dad a lot, and sometimes I think he's near." But she goes, "There's some other bad people coming in here." I'm like, "Mom, what are you talking about?" And she says, "Well, for instance, I'll be just sitting in the living room, and behind me is the dining room, and my father had been a furniture maker by hobby. He made this big corner cabinet for her, like she could shelves all the way up, and she had all of her beautiful crystal things and figurines and all, Hummels and all that stuff, And she says, and something will just fly off and just with such, veracity, it just, smashes to the floor behind her. And I'm like, "Okay, that doesn't sound good." And she said, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to be back down this weekend to check this out." Okay. And so I drive down, and and so, we have dinner, and I'm swearing this is the truth. And we actually had paranormal group come in right after this, okay, at the university. So this is all true. All right. And so we're in the kitchen part, just eating. And we were talking and had a glass of wine and stuff. And all of a sudden, I hear this music coming down from, she had a furnished basement. And you can hear it coming up the stairwell. And it sounds kind of like 1930s radio show kind of thing. You're like, you know what I mean? And so I opened the door from the kitchen to the stairwell. And now I can hear it's not only music, but it's like this couple talking like at the end of their day. And they're sitting and listening to radio. Some like old farm couple or young farm couple or something, right? It's like two people talking and the music in the background. And I like back up into the kitchen. And I'm like, have you heard that before? And she said, yeah, one other time. She said, I do have a radio down there, but it's unplugged.
Wow.
I know. Okay. Maybe she's forgetting something, you know. Well, she wasn't that old or anything. She didn't have dementia at that time. But I was just like, oh, I don't know how that would work, you know, being all scientific and all, you know. And so finally, I go get a ball bat because we don't have a firearm in the house. Right? I go get a ball bat. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go down there and see somebody's down there talking, right? Because I can't stand this anymore. So I have the light on in this stairwell. I go down, and when I get about 4 steps down to the bottom, everything goes off. So now I'm just standing there. And I'm like, oh my God, there was somebody down here. And I'm like, you know, what do I do now? Do I go find him or, you know, because I have to go down and then turn to the left? Or do I run back up the stairs and call the police, you know? And so I decide I don't want to go in there. So I turn around and I start to go back there, but I'm backing up, right? Because I don't want anything coming at me.
Never turn your back. Yeah.
As soon as I go up a few steps, boom, it all starts up again. So I gotten far enough away, right? And I'm like, oh my God. So now I like motion my mom down there. I'm like, every time I go down, they shut up. Every time I go up, because I tried a couple times, right? And I'm like, this is crazy. And right. So she says, well, you know, I've had other experiences in my life. And she takes me to the kitchen, starts telling me all this stuff. And I find out, that's when I find out she's just like this channel or something, right? This has been happening to her for years. And I'm like, Mom, this is all kind of freaking me out. Can we just go to a motel tonight, you know, and then we'll figure this out in the morning? And she goes, well, that make you feel better. And then I thought that was kind of ridiculous. And that's when the bad guy shows up. Those people were harmless and the off the shelf, you know, it broke something, but, you know, it's not the end of the world, right? All right, so I go, no, we can just sleep. It's okay, right? So she goes into her bedroom. I go in the bedroom that's right above where I heard the people talking and the music. And I go to sleep because I am exhausted, you know. And the next thing I know, and this is the best way I can explain it, is I'm being sucked up from the bed from this force that is like, I can't even breathe, let alone talk or fight or anything. And so it like dawns on me because I'm scared to death. And the smell is just awful. And I'm like, whatever this thing is, it's effing evil. Okay. And it's nothing like that other stuff. And the only way that I can free myself is to literally with my mind, like it's mind over matter type thing with thing. And I'm like, I won't go with you. I keep saying that, you know, because I'm thinking it's like, well, devil or something. I don't know. And I will not go with you. And finally, my mom hears me like struggling, but she can't hear me saying anything. She just senses something's wrong. And she's walking into my room. She sees me literally fall back on the mattress.
Wow.
So I was levitated. Yeah. And I remember hitting the mattress and she came running to me and I'm like, we gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go. I mean, I Oh, I've never been so scared in my life. And we ran out, grabbed your keys, grabbed our purses, no clothes, and we just went to a motel. And I said, I'm not going back in that house. I'm going out to the university. I read or heard something that there was a paranormal team out there. And I said, we're going to go find those people and we're going to tell them what happened, because this is like poltergeist time, you know?
Yeah.
And so we go and we tell them the story. And I thought they're all going to say I was crazy, or mom was crazy, or we're both crazy. No, they didn't. And they said, all right, think you better find a place to stay for a couple nights, because somebody really doesn't like you. And he met me, because they didn't do that to your mom, but they did that to you. And I'm like, yeah. And so I was like, no, I don't want to go back. And long story short, they brought in all their equipment, and they brought in this woman who is a really famous, channeler medium. And she said, oh my Lord, your mother has such a good heart, and she was grieving your father so bad, and she wanted him to come see her so bad. She just opened up to everything.
Oh.
And that's what was happening. You're getting the good, the bad, the ugly, the in between, you know. And we've got to teach her to learn how to channel that channeling, you know, or to focus on that channeling, and to stop it, because otherwise, this medium said, they'll just keep coming back, you know. And so they did some stuff, and they, you know, had their equipment and all, and they said, definitely there's energy here, even, you know, in the daytime. Then they came back at night. Oh yeah, that's when it really kicked up, you know. And like I said, some of it was very positive stuff. We did find out that her house had been built on a farm around the 1930s. So that probably was those people that lived there on, you know, in that house. And they were fine, but whatever got to me, not good at all. And I pray that I never run into it again. But yeah, they fixed her, and they fixed the situation. But she had to learn how to stop, you know, those things from happening, to coming to her. So I'm a total believer of paranormal, because I saw it, and I felt it. And
she never worked in Fairfax, did she?
Pardon me?
She never worked in Fairfax, did she?
No.
Okay,
no.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm thinking
nothing like that. She was. My folks were like salt of the earth. My dad was a brake mechanic, and my mom worked for Macy's all her life. So no, nothing like. I'm way out of the box for the rest of my family. But no, it's just the poor little thing. She was just. I've never really seen anyone in such grief as when she lost dad, and you know, she became, speaking of Tricia's situation, my mom had been a model, very tall and thin, unlike me. And she became anorectic for a while, you know, just because of her grief. All she'd drink is orange juice all day. Wow. That's all she would have. Wow. And, you know, so she went from that, and then right after, you know, that episode was over, this paranormal stuff came to her. So, yeah, I think that you can literally wish into that other world, and sometimes the answer. That's what I think would happen to her.
Oh yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Wow.
So that's my paranormal story.
That is great. That may be clipped and saved for other shows. That is probably, well, I've been doing this for years, and that's probably you don't get very many first contacts. You know what I'm saying? Direct contacts. You might with Bigfoot or some people. I'm not sure about the alien thing, but you know, you don't get many first contacts.
Well, actually, after I moved to Wisconsin, I experienced, and it's an official sighting because many people in this area saw it. But the second fall autumn I was here, I was taking my garbage from my condo out to this big like dumpster area, you know, like they have. And it was early evening. It was almost dark, but not quite dark. And what happened? I was walking this way, and all of a sudden, this huge light just came from above, and like encompassed me, right? And I was like, "What?" And so I turned around and I looked up, and there's this big thing hovering over, you know, a big part of the town, like right, or that part of town, and I got so scared. I ran into the dumpster area, which was like this big cement thing. It had a bunch of, and I was hiding between the dumpsters because I'm like, "You're not taking me," you know. And you know, and so I was hiding from it, and I was scared to death. And I kept looking up, and all of a sudden it went way up, and then it was large, and then all of a sudden all these different ones came out of it and shot different ways, and then it went. And it was gone. And I thought, all right, what did somebody put in my drink? You know, because I had a few people over. I'm like, I don't know if they saw that, but I sure saw that, you know. So I run upstairs and I say, and they're like, "We saw it out of your back window, out of your loft thing, you know." And I'm like, "Yeah." And so we were calling the cops, and we couldn't get through because so many people were calling the cops. My girlfriend was out at her friend's a little on the edge of town on a farm, and they had just gotten done with the walk, and her and all three of them saw it too. And they're all scientists. Okay. Yeah. I want to claim that. All right. And they'll tell you to this day they saw it. Okay. And I mean, yeah, so it was investigated, and also, yeah, that was above Whitewater, Wisconsin that happened. And it would have been the fall of 2003.
Wow.
Yep. So there's stuff out there, guys. There's definitely stuff out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Man, you have written about an exciting life and character. So,
well, you know, you only live once, right?
That's what they say. For the radio listener, tell everybody where they can get your stuff and what formats it's available in.
So my book is called Mission Thaw. My name is Kay Sparling. A good way to just one-stop shop thing is just to go to my website. I have a big website, kaysparlingbooks.com. It's going to tell you all about the book. One cool thing that I have that, again, is out of the box is because I know many composers and musicians. A composer friend of mine already wrote a theme song in case this becomes a movie. So this book has a theme song and theme music, and you'll hear that on the website. It tells you all the places you can buy it. Hey, shout out to Australia. First time I've gotten to talk to people from there, but I am on your Booktopia and the UK Amazon site. So you can get this book around the world, anywhere where Amazon is. And I'm on Barnes & Noble. Up in Canada, I'm on Kobo and Indigo. So, you know. And I do not have an audiobook yet. That is to come. But it is hardcover and paperback and ebook. So
very good. Very good. I'm going to try and talk you out of an autograph copy. Wow.
Okay. I'll send you one, of course. You just need to send me your address and I'll do that.
I would much appreciate that, because it would mean a lot to another first responder. And I'm going to email you some personal questions about PTSD. So
sure, absolutely.
Just from one responder to another. So I mean,
well,
you know, for your character.
I believe that he is considered the absolute authority, and he has really come up with a really good therapy down there. His name is Dr. Bear. And he has done some incredible research and treatment. So absolutely, you can ask me whatever you want.
Okay. All right. Well, Kay, I have loved our conversation, and I can't wait to read your book. I want you to come back. You can come back anytime you want. You don't have to have another book. You want to just come back and sit and chat. Come on.
Okay. Sounds like fun. I love it. This has been really great.
By any chance, do you watch the TV show On Patrol where they do the live cops things? They follow them around on weekends.
No, I don't. I don't watch a lot of TV. I tend to stream, like series and stuff like that, but don't have a lot of time, So tell me about it.
Well, it's basically from 9 till midnight, Friday and Saturday night. They put live cameras in, I think they're in 16 different communities across the U.S. to try and get out what police work really is, because you see on TV, they're stopping cars and jerking people out and disappearing. You see all that stuff. That's the media stuff. But this shows you the other side. Well, that does happen. I'm not arguing it doesn't happen, but that this shows more of the human side. Ironically, they are filming Knox County, where I'm at here in Tennessee. Like 3 months in a row, some of their deputies have been seriously injured while the show was being filmed. It's the craziest thing. But anyhow, what I was saying is I'm trying to find somebody that watches that show that has a background in public safety that would be a co-host and come on afterwards. We could talk about the show. So,
okay. Well, I will check that out. I have a lot of respect. I didn't know a lot about police work or firefighting until 9/11. And after what I learned from all those eulogies and speeches and just getting to know the guys, because everyone would show up for their outfit, right, no matter how many funerals there were, and all the survivors did. And I don't know, I just think about that day and everybody trying to run out of there, and they were running in. That always just it leaves me speechless.
They were getting water on the fire. They literally were getting water on the fire. The pipes were broke, so they were just getting pressure from the tanks above coming down. And they were putting water on the fire. They were making an attack. So, I mean, that's crazy in that situation. So, and they never thought twice. So, yeah.
They never thought twice. One of my other composer friends wrote a song in honor of the dog, Cirrus, that, you probably know about that. And I can tear up every time I hear that song. He used to ask me, I would do some singing out here for retired service dogs. They do an actual retirement service when it's time to do that. And Tracy would always ask me to sing his song, and it's so hard to get through, because, I love animals, and then just the story, but you stay here, I'll be back, boy,
Yep.
So I have great respect for first responders. Okay.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, it's like other professions will tell you, it's just a job. So
no, it's more than that. I really believe
you actually that uniform changes your life. So,
absolutely, and it changes a lot of other people's lives you save.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So, I had an argument about the uniform just the other day with somebody, but that's another story. So. They were arguing about they shouldn't be in DC, and I said, no, that's perfectly where they need to be. They're breaking a cycle. And if some kid comes out and he doesn't see mama selling herself on the street and his brother slinging dope on the corner, he sees a man in a uniform that talks like him, looks like him, comes from his neighborhood. He's just made a difference. But it's still bad. So at any rate, now I'm going to get off my soapbox or whatever you call it. Thank you so much. I have enjoyed you so much. Like I said, open door. Just message me. You want to come on? I'll make room for you.
Please email me your address and I'll send you one of those books.
Absolutely. I love it.
Thank you for having me. I was a little, when Mickey sent it to me, I'm like, paranormal is normal. I don't know how this is going to fit in, and he goes, no, it's not all about that, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a try,
Yeah, it's a play on words because my son and I actually came up with the concept because I believe in all the paranormal stuff and he's the scientific one. He doesn't believe in any of it. So that was the intent. Well, it's going to be me and him going back and forth. Well, he decided to get married and move to Vermont, damn it, and have grandkids. Kind of killed that. So that was the original premise. But yeah.
See.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Said, everybody's got a story. So.
Oh, everybody does. During COVID, everything about the arts was shut down, my school included, and I didn't have a living. So I was a receptionist at a huge senior citizen, community that's on the side of town here. And I became their, I thought it was going to be front desk receptionist, but it also became the CDC, health officer just because of my background. Oh, that was fun. Let me tell you, trying to keep everybody in accordance to all the daily changing, laws and all. But anyway, I was, these people would have to stay in their rooms by themselves, and some of them were single, so they'd be in there by themselves. Their family couldn't come in; they could only telephone, And so I decided what I could do for them is give a schedule. You can't be in the lobby at the same time, but if you come in one at a time, you can sit 6 feet from me, and I'll talk loud because I'm an opera singer, and we'll talk every day. Because I don't want you getting depressed and, could easily happen. So a lot of them took me up, but they'd sit down and I'd say, okay, tell me about your life, and they'd be like, oh, you don't want to hear about my life. I'm as ordinary as can be. Here they are, 86, and they're telling me they're as ordinary as can be, right? And we get into it. And 2 weeks later, I could have written a book about every one of those ordinary people. Everybody has fascinating things that happen to us, especially when you live to be 86 or 92, But yeah, everybody's got great stories.
Absolutely. And yours is great. So, Kay, thank you very much. Australia is going to kick me off, so I've been on too long. Thank you for allowing us to hear your story. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me, and good luck.
Yes, ma'am. You'll talk to me soon. Don't worry. So.
Okay. All righty.
All right. Bye-bye.
Right. Good night.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye. Oh, wow. What a great show. We started off getting a little silly with the technical difficulties. I went through 2 different hosts, and I still have viewers hanging on. And I'm hoping that my Australian audience, I know we talked to you into morning, into afternoon. I hope we entertained you a little bit. And I hope maybe you come over and check us out on our YouTube channel, the Chris, I could hardly breathe through some of that stuff. That was so intense and so great. Wow. This show is probably one of the best we've had. So, because we started off slap happy and silly, and then we just kind of turned right or left or whatever the hell way it was. But, everybody that was listening in Australia, thank you for allowing us to tickle your ears. Please come over and find us on YouTube at the Para OR Normal Guyz. Search out the Sport Cat shows. This show will be where you can play it back over and over again because there is so much to take in with that. And you will also, probably not tonight, it's late. I still have to do my radio station show. So I will try and get the notes updated with the author's information in there. So thank everyone for allowing me to come into your homes, come into your cars, come into your electronic devices. Thank you for allowing me to spread the word about some of this stuff. I hope everybody has a great morning because it's tomorrow morning and afternoon over in Sydney. It's 2:31 in the afternoon and 12:21 in Perth. So thank you all for allowing us. But in the UK, it's still 5:18 or 5:21. So we're still doing well. So thank you all very much. We're doing great. Angela, we're doing great, but we're going off the air. So sorry. Come over to YouTube, subscribe. Everybody have a great night. I will be back tomorrow from 1 till 3 doing the news show. There's a whole lot of news going on. So we'll talk about that. And then, of course, we have our Big Brother show. Busy day for us here tomorrow. So you can find us all over. Come over and find us. Everybody have a great night. Thank you for allowing us to come in and tickle your ears. Thank you for Dare Media for allowing us to run over. We went really far over, but thank you to them. And thank you to everybody at Yerg's Radio. Everybody, you too, Brenda. Thank you. I went through 2 different hosts tonight, and I'm still going. So love you guys. Thank you for everything. Sport Cat, I'm out of here. I've talked my ears off. I'll talk to you soon. Sport Cat, I'm out of here. See y'all soon.
Wonder.